Hi guys, it's Archie Luxury, and you are on the Archie Luxury live stream. That's where we are today, guys. We are on the Archie Luxury live stream. And today, guys, it's time that what do we want to do? We want to talk about watches. So it's been a very very tumultuous couple of years. Been on a journey, and now we're coming to the end. Coming to the end of the journey. It's the end. Is it time to dump your watches? Interesting. In some ways, it is time to dump. Let's go and start a poll. Let's start a poll. Should I downsize my collection? Yes or no? There we go. Let's get this poll started, and let's get talking. So, guys, let's run some intros, run an ad, and we'll start the show. That's right, guys. What a great intro. Let's run an advert.
Hi, guys. It's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW.
Guys, it's Archie Luxury, and welcome to the program. Guys, let's get this baby off the ground. Guys, is it time to dump your stuff? Dump your load. Dump it. And that's the question. Come on now and tell your side. Let's get it on there. There we go. Come on now and tell your side. There we go. Just sending some invites out. Who else can I invite here? Jay Anthony. We'll get him on there. Today's topic, is it time to dump your watches? There we go. Let's get it out there now. Getting it out there now. Some good panelists. I really would like to have some good panelists. The Hofmeister, I love Hof. We've got Mark Goldberg. See if we can get him on. Tanzeel's always good. Clivers is always good. We'll see if we can get him. Mr. GMT, he's always good. Who else is there? Keslovitz, see if we can get him on. Machine Gun Chris, we'll get him on. We got HR. Hey, Char, how are you?
Arch, I've got an unboxing, big boy. Can I take it away?
Yes, please. Full screen for you. Unbox this baby. This is so. Firstly, this is for. Okay, yep. Open it up.
Let's build the suspense, Arch. Ask you some questions.
Is this your watch or your mother's watch?
It's mine now.
Holy fuck! You took my advice.
Yes, 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 yes.
How did you finance it? Can we talk about how you financed it? Novated lease.
No. So listen, Arch, I'll be honest with you. I initially bought it for Mum. She didn't want it. She said, I'd rather have a shitty date just 31.
Yeah.
I went, okay, well, I'll have it then. We won't refund it.
Yes. You bought the date just. You get a discount on the date just.
Yes.
How much discount?
10%.
Okay. What sort of date just did you get her?
Hold on, let's focus on this at the moment.
Sure. It's beautiful. Oh my God, what a beautiful box. Rolex.
Is that real Rolex? Yes. Look at it.
It is
And look,
beautiful.
we'll just get the keys in as well. Wow. Full screen, me Arch. I'm about to do the reveal, big boy.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how to do this with one hand.
Wow, look at that. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I can see the coronet in the Swiss Rolex crown made.
You can see that? The coronet already?
You know, wait, you pointed the camera there. You can see down the bottom there.
Yes,
White
yes,
writing, 41 mil. You know, in many ways, this is the perfect bluesy. I chose the other one basically because it's what I could get at the time. But I love the 41 is I think is a beautiful watch.
Arch, I'm in love. I am in love. This is the
You're not
ultimate
selling
Rolex.
any of your other ones, are you? Going to just keep them? You know what? Don't buy any more, but keep what you've got. Does that make sense?
I've got to be honest, Arch. I was thinking about flicking off the date just.
No. Just keep. Look, the market's not good, and it gives you a lot of joy. That's it. If that's your hobby, if that's your vice, so what?
It's beautiful, Arch. I'm in love.
What do you think of novated leases? I want to ask you that after we finish here.
I think we finished, Arch. And if you want to see it a bit more.
Yes, I do. Please show me more.
Okay. Let me do a quick on wrist. I'll pop it out.
Yeah, put it on the wrist, big boy. Yes, sir.
Oh, Arch, it's beautiful. Look at it. Oh.
Would you wear that at work?
Yes, I'm going to wear it on Monday and show the fuckers. Look at it.
Wow.
Wow. Is that a real blue? What do you think, Arch? Do you want to talk about novated leases now?
Could you bring the other two Rolexes you've got there out? I just want to see them as a pair.
No, they're in my partner's room.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But
okay.
I've got a picture, but I don't know how I can get that over to you.
Okay.
Beautiful. Let's talk leases, Arch.
What do you think of novated leases? I think that's the worst possible way to buy a car.
No, what's that? Like a lease? Like a
novated leases? It's like salary sacrificing. They use some pre-tax dollars to pay. They do the servicing. Everything's included.
Well, it actually does work out cheaper, Arch. But
you don't own the car at the end.
No, but you don't own it with a normal lease like your lease, Arch.
I'm not a lease. I'm a PCP.
But you're still getting hammered, big boy. You need to be buying your cars outright, Arch, like me. What do you think to that?
Yes.
Arch, I've got to be honest. This glide lock clasp is a game changer. I've never had one before, Arch. It is amazing. You know this?
Yes.
Yes. It is amazing, the glide lock, Arch. Since I'm having it, I don't want to put any other Rolex. I don't want any other Rolex to grace my wrist without the glide lock.
Yes. Tell me this. Seriously, I want to ask you something. That watch, what did you pay? Can you give me some details on the pricings in that? So it's full retail. What was retail in the UK? I'm not trying to hose you down. I'm just trying to ask you how did it go? How much was it in that there?
£14,200, but I did get a cup of tea and some biscuits at the AD for the experience.
£14,200. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, big boy.
Fuck, 28,000. Fuck, they're expensive.
It's expensive there, bad.
We got Jay Anthony joining us. Hello, Jay Anthony. How are you?
Hello, Jay Anthony.
Well, can we hear you, Jay Anthony? Sound check. Yeah, he's just doing it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Just had a beautiful unboxing. HR man just had a most beautiful two-tone bluesy, the 41 mil, the new one. So that's the model after mine. Beautiful. It looks so wonderful in the box there. He paid £14,000 Aussie dollars. 28,000. Fuck, because you've got high tax. The VAT in England is fucking high.
Yeah, but it's great to live in the UK, Arch. It's worth paying to live here.
Yes. Okay. Fair point. Fair point. I get it. Beautiful. All I can say is beautiful watch. That is really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Nothing wrong with that there. I got to grab some super chats. We got SD43, £2. Is loser talk here to stay? I'm sick of it, to be honest, Ace. What loser talk?
Oh, don't talk about Arch like that. SD43, he's not a loser.
We got Rich Mitch, £5. Is now a good time to buy? What watches offer the best value in the market as it stands right now? And is Rolex retail a good deal?
Yes, it is. Never sell the Rolex, fuckers.
What do you think, Jay Anthony? What's your view?
Yes to both. I think right now anything that has precious metal in it is on sale, especially. So if you want something two-tone or solid gold, it's cheaper than it's been in a very long time. And Rolex, you can find anything new in the AD that's not. I mean, any modern sports watch, buy it. You will. Yes, you'd be silly not to, or tell me about it. I might want it.
Arch, I've had all of my 3 watches through the AD, and they've all washed me every time. I'm a sucker for the AD experience. I love it. I love it, Arch.
Look, there's nothing wrong with that. Different people, different processes. It doesn't work for me. I'm like Jay Anthony. I'm very much a value shopper. And
I'd rather pay, Arch, £1,000 more and get a cup of tea, and the AD person say, "Oh, you look really nice today, HR." I go, "Oh, thank you. Take that £1,000 for that cup of tea."
With the watches you've got, even though they're not super hype Rolex, so you've got an Explorer 2 black dial, you've got a Datejust. It's a steel Datejust.
No, it's white gold, fucker. Is it white gold, Arch?
Sorry?
It's the white gold fluted, big boy.
But I've got to say, look, let me say this to you, okay? And I think Jay Anthony would back me up. Is that a good investment? Well, the thing is,
yes, it's Rolex.
You bought
I buy
them,
what I like.
You bought them for your own joy. You didn't buy them to put away in the safe, and then 20 years later, you look at your return.
That's 100%.
Because you love watches. You love,
and I want to shit on people I work with.
No, but they do make you happy. The watches do. I get it. They do make you happy. Like my watches make me really happy. And the thing is, okay, you've got 3. My best advice to you, best financial, best investment with watch advice to you would be to stop. You've got 3. Don't sell them. Don't do anything silly. Just stop with those 3.
Why? I want a day-date, Arch.
No, if you okay, you can get a day date in the future, but what I'm saying is, if you stop with those 3, you'll actually be pretty comfortable. You're not going to lose. It's not going to be a great investment, but it's okay. Where you go wrong is where you buy more, sell more, buy more
People,
things
what,
in and out
what,
that
what does the
really.
saying say? People in glass houses. You've bought and sell your whole fucking what YouTube career, Arch. Don't you dare tell me that. I'm going to buy and sell. I'm going to buy and sell.
No, but my experience is different because I bought a lot of things secondhand, pre-owned. I had the terrible burglary. I mean, fuck. You want to talk about loss of investment?
Did you get burgled?
Yeah, you know the story. Come on. You know the story. Anyhow, but the thing is, in your own case, let's be honest there, those three, let's think about it. Explorer, Bluesy, and the Datejust. Fuck, that should be more than enough for life. That's it.
No, I need a day-date, Arch. I need a day-date 40. I've got an addiction. Help me.
Look, the truth is, so how did you end up paying for that? Did you
I paid outright. I paid on a debit card.
Okay. That's fair. I got to tell you something, Jay Anthony. I recently got a HELOC. Can I please explain?
Fuck.
Let me just catch up on these super chats, and then we will. I'll tell you my life story. Marcus Mandel, €5. Archie, I'm a bit tipsy. If I say something unsavory, do not block me. And we got Rich Mitch, £2. Did HR wrangle a 10% discount from AD? You got a discount on your mother's watch, but on the Bluesy, did you get a discount on the Bluesy? I don't think you would have, would you?
No discount on the Bluesy, but for my mum's date just 31, I got 10% off.
Okay.
And now, a refitting of the bracelet. Woo.
Actually, Jay Anthony, I wanted to talk to you and tell you, you're talking about money, how when you have the money, you don't want to spend it. Yes. If it's financing it, it's easier to do. Oh yes, let's do it. The car deal, the BMW will give you a 7 Series. By the way, I went to the shopping center yesterday to get some food, and I saw the latest 7 Series. It was in matte, and I've got to tell you something. That would have to. It was a 740i. That would have to be the ugliest fucking car I have ever. The previous model I actually liked.
Yeah, it was a good looking car. It looked more like the old 7. Yeah, it was.
But this new 7, it's so square. It looks like an appliance.
What about the X7? What about the X7?
No, the X7, that's an SUV. That's a completely different vehicle.
Yeah,
I don't mind the X7. I don't mind the look of, but I'm not an SUV person. I think if you're going to go SUVs,
you get the Skoda Kodiaq.
No, you go for a brand that specializes in SUVs. Like the Bronco is a classic, right? The Land Cruisers, the FJ Land Cruiser is a classic as well.
Yes.
Jeep. I mean, look. I'm just trying to tell you, those companies, they did it off-roading. BMW came onto it because the market was changing in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I'm not bothered about that. The only off-roading I want to be doing is into the AD's glass windows, stealing the day dates, but they don't fucking get me the watch.
Look, I tell you honestly, you have the most beautiful collection there. Let me say this to you, Jay Anthony. So I got a HELOC. Okay. The reason I got a HELOC is, I'll tell you why, okay?
It's going to get painful. Okay, I'm listening. Sure.
Okay.
Tell me more.
Okay, let me tell you. I want you to be honest with me. If you think I'm wrong, you just tell me, okay?
Okay, I will.
The last 3 years, I've had good income.
Okay.
I'm seeing the future is not rosy. The future is terrible, okay? I did a few things this year which was silly. I've chalked up some credit card debt, trying to get the business back, but it did not work. Okay, so I'm man enough to admit I made some mistakes.
You need to get knocked back off.
What I'd like to do is that high cost debt I want to finance with some of the HELOC. I want to use some of the HELOC to pay that out. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to have some buffer money because the thing is this. I've got a few things where I'm a bit stuck. The car is halfway through a 5-year term.
Yep.
I want to have the money to pay it out anytime now. Anytime I want to be able to say I've got borrowed, because at the end of the day, the finance I've got, it leaves me with a balloon. So if everything is shit, I would rather say, okay, I pay it out, then I'm free to sell it whenever I want on my terms. Okay, I don't want to be selling. So I may sell it sooner. There is some tax implications, but if I'm not earning much income, I don't have much of a tax problem because there's not much income. You understand what I'm saying? So that kind of negates, right?
Okay.
The other thing is,
trying to follow this logic. Okay.
I'll be
I've
totally
got to
honest
jump off.
with you.
Enjoy. See you later.
Hey, thank you, HR, for the thing.
Nice pick, HR.
Nice pick. I want to say this to you. I want to have some money up my sleeve, just as a buffer, right? Not to just waste on crap, but as a buffer.
Okay.
The other thing I want to do, I'll tell you honestly, my thinking has completely changed. So I'm getting this HELOC. Instead of saying to myself, you know what, I want to buy another watch, I'm actually thinking of selling some of my existing watches.
Go on. Okay.
And reducing the HELOC. Like the HELOC is basically like an overdraft. I don't have to use the funds. Do you understand? There's nothing wrong. I think some people go wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with using borrowed money. It's when you use borrowed money for stupid things that don't bring in anything back. If you use borrowed money for lifestyle and for if you use borrowed money for lifestyle, like for personal travel and stupidity, well, that's crazy because you're left with the debt with nothing to show for it. But if you use borrowed money to buy time and give you options, in the sense that borrowed money, what happens is it gives you time to think. Like it could be the end of the business. I'll get out of this business and get a job or do something else. You know, I think the HELOC itself, it lets me consolidate debt, and it lets me say, okay, it gives me some breathing room because I had good figures. In the future, the figures aren't looking so bright. Okay. Now, you've got to realize this is borrowed. HELOC is so basically the HELOC itself. I want to consolidate some bad debts. Okay. I owe a friend a couple $1,000 because on a watch. I want to pay him out. I don't want to have that on my head. I don't want to owe a friend money. I want to pay him, and that's it. That's it. I'm not going to. And I would actually like to sell a few watches. I tell you, I'm going to sell 1 or 2 of my gold watches, and some of the steel. I'll probably get rid of the Zenith. Not that I dislike the Zenith, but I want to get. I want to get out of some stuff. I want to get out of stuff and reduce that HELOC. The HELOC, I'm happy to have the funds available. I don't have to spend the money. I can leave the money in the account. I mean, actually, the money is in the home loan. You put it back into the home loan.
Okay. I'm struggling here. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. So let me say that I will agree with 2 parts of what you said. I will agree. Never take out debt for stupid crap that's not an investment. I agree. You shouldn't be financing a lifestyle. That was good advice. And I also appreciate you're trying to knock out the higher interest debt, which I love. But I don't want to touch the HELOC because I think it's a terrible idea. Let me ask you a question. Sure. If you sold off all the watches you have now, how much of your debt could you get rid of? Including the HELOC, including the credit card debt, including the car debt. Could you wipe most of it out? Where would you be?
The problem is, in my case, I can't really get rid of all my watches because I'm not going to have a business. I
disagree. I knew you were going to throw that at me. You and I both have watch dealer friends that have lots of inventory. I can go down the street.
I'm not enthusiastic if I don't own the bloody things.
You didn't answer my question. Could you get rid of all your debt if you sold those watches off? You can always buy a different one back. But could you do that?
I could.
Okay.
I could.
So you could be debt free tomorrow.
No,
And you
not
could
not
go
debt free. Not
Okay.
totally debt free. I could so okay, let's look at it. My watches are worth roughly 100. I got
Okay.
50 in bad debt.
Okay.
Okay, I'd still I know what you're saying. You're right. You're right. You are okay. I see what you're saying. The problem is the market's not. I don't seem to. They're not nothing. I haven't. Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
I like getting so. I like to have money up my sleeve. I want that reserves up my sleeve.
Sell the watches, pay off all the high interest debt. If you want to keep your silly HELOC, whatever.
Yeah.
Walk around with $1,000 in your pocket. You'll feel rich. You can walk in every store and realize you could buy whatever you want. Just don't spend it. It'll take care of the
We got
mindset.
another super chat. Little Dave, $2. Would it be possible to unban Mr. Wilkinson? I don't think he's banned. Is he banned? Where's he banned? Oh, Mrs. Wilkinson's there. Ah, did I ban him? I must have. I'll have a look. I'll have a look. I'll have a look. Thank you. Tell me this. You are very okay. Tell me this. I want to ask today's question. Is it time to dump your washers? What do you think? Is it time to dump?
No, I think it's a time to buy. I think this is buy low, sell high. I think everything's on sale. And if you can pay cash for it and you don't mind it going down a little bit more, it's a good time to buy. What do you think?
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Pay cash. Yeah, that's an interesting concept, cash, isn't it?
It's a great concept.
Okay, I will unban Mr. Wilkinson. Okay, it's done. It's done. He's unbanned. Mr. Wilkinson is unbanned, but he's got to be nice. Don't be such a fucking asshole. I got to tell you something, okay? I wanted some reserve money up my sleeve, okay? Look, basically, the HELOC itself, yeah, you're probably right. I should have done it another way. I just like... You know what? You know what? No, you're right. It is probably dumb. I like to the HELOC itself. I suppose I just wanted the reserve. I kind of I don't know. I think in my own business. No, you're right. You don't want to have more debt. Okay. See, you don't have children, do you?
I have a nephew, which is awesome, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Children are expensive fuckers. You know that? Expensive.
I've been told.
You know, I get it. I get what you're saying there. It's I've got to tell you something. We had some great talks the other day. Oh, we got another super chat. We got Madman. I got to grab this. $10 from Madman. Why is there no Archie on Cameo.com? I want to be able to order an AC3 roast of somebody for $100. Why downsize when you can upsize, big boy? Jay Anthony, would you order an AC3 Cameo birthday message? I don't even know what Cameo is.
It's not that platform where you pay somebody to say something. They create like a video clip of something. Oh, hey, Narc.
Jay Anthony, how you going, buddy? Welcome back.
Hey, this is A grade. We've got A grade talent, Narc. By the way,
we've got Jay Anthony.
A lot of abuse from OC last night. Oh my God, he said to me, "Why did I let you come on?" And I said,
"That's good. That means I've done my job. That means I've done my job. My job." Jay Anthony, you don't get it. He wants money up his sleeve. Seriously, what don't you get? He wants money up his sleeve. I love how Archie tried to reframe his argument over and over until you agree. You do, look, this guy's fire. You don't get it. You're trying to get a guy who doesn't believe in buying things with credit, with loans, to agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with money up your sleeve, but not money attached to somebody else's bank account. or
Don't appease him here. I'm glad you're here, but you're going to talk some sense to this fat fuck, right? Protect owners shouldn't be asking for HELOC. Protect and HELOC don't go hand in hand. He's an embarrassment, Jay Anthony.
A lot of people use HELOCs, Narc.
Not the way you want to use it.
I legitimately don't even know how to open one. I'll say that much. So
Jay Anthony, please talk some sense to him here.
He's not.
In a way, I don't want you to, because I want to see the train wreck. But I do love Archie.
I don't want to see the train wreck.
Yeah, so I'm looking at your face here, and as he's trying to explain it, you're saying, "What the fuck?" But you're too nice of a guy. So sad for you. He's saying, "What the fuck, you fat fuck?"
That's not how you influence people, my friend. I don't want to get him defensive. He's not going to listen even less. So,
but you're thinking along those lines. You're thinking along those lines.
You got to slowly win him over. Come on. I'm just going to put him on the opposite side if I keep yelling at him. You know how this works. I don't want him defensive. I want him listening.
I'm going to jump off. Jay Anthony, thank you for coming on. The color suits you. Thank you.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
By the way, give my regards to OC, Arch.
Thank you. Here we go. We got a super chat from Ken Fresno, $2. Hoard and possess cash, big boy. And we got time to unwind, $2, £2. I dumped 18 months ago and saved £60,000. Yeah, I got to tell you. So anyhow, and Jay Anthony, whether you believe, okay, it's up for me to do what I want. Okay, fair point. You would never take on more debt. Fair point. I wanted the reserves to help me sleep at night, but that's my own choice. Okay.
Well, let me argue with that. So I cannot. Some of this, this literally is making me hurt to think about this shit. If you have to take out a loan to have reserves, those aren't reserves. That's a loan. That's debt, and that's debt they can call in whenever they want if they don't like you.
Correct.
If you wanted cash, you could sell off your watch collection and put debt-free cash up your sleeve. Correct?
Correct. That's the sensible way. The only problem is I'm 52 and aging fast.
What difference does that make?
You know,
should know better.
One thing, I will tell you one negative, okay?
Okay.
One negative with Dave Ramsey. He says if you can't afford it, pay cash, can't afford it. What happens to the guy who skimps all his life, has the shit car, has the shit everything? He always wanted a lousy fucking 3 Series. He never got it. And then he dies of cancer. He's dead. And it's all over. Red Rover.
There's way more to that equation than just what you said. There's many life decisions and education and job decisions that also fell into that situation.
I mean, there are times when you could say, you know what, it was a stupid fucking idea to do this, but fuck, it's in some regards it felt good too.
Actually, you know, it's funny because Danny Perfect, I cannot believe what people remember about me. It's kind of frightening. Made a comment that I dumped my entire Rolex collection at one point. I did. I sold off every luxury watch I had, including stainless steel Daytonas and Presidents and you name it. And I literally wore Seikos and G-Shocks for 5 years. And to be honest, I didn't miss it. It's only 5 years later I got back into it. I put it as a down payment on my house, and I slept okay at night. And my Seiko Monster was nicer to me than my 16610 Submariner. But the difference is, I love stealth wealth. I like people not knowing what I have, not really knowing much about me, and I'm not really worried about what they think about me. And it's nice being underestimated. It actually feels pretty satisfying. And walking in a room and people not knowing, and you see all these posers walking around with the Louis Vuitton backpack and the fake gold watches, and I'm like, invisible. That's actually pretty satisfying. I think you could enjoy that too. And you'd have cash up your sleeve. And you have all these buddies that let you try whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I am actually going to be I'm going to be selling a few things off, okay?
I like this. When can I get a date? What's the timeline on this?
I don't need. I'll be honest with you. I tell you one thing I've really found is that I've had a few people like Sirocco passed away, and I'm thinking, who really wants this shit? We think these things are so special and precious, right?
It's just a damn watch.
Nobody really wants the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, besides the money they can get for it, which is not going to be at the top of the tree, they don't even want the fucking thing.
Why did you want the world time? Because you get off the people in some factory in Switzerland hand carving, doing the ombrage, and
Look,
doing the
World
Geneva
Time's a
Stripe.
beautiful watch. It's an
I'm not-
absolute.
I'm not questioning that, but is it literally you're watching videos late at night about them doing the Geneva stripes on it, or because you just like that it's a Patek and you can walk around with it? What problem were you solving with the watch?
Look, to me, it's very complicated, but to me, that World Time itself, because I had a World Time before that was stolen.
Yeah,
It kind of I kind of think, well, this is a better one anyhow. And I love. We've got Rich Mitch, £2. This man is sense. AC3, please listen to him. I've got a few renovations I want to do on the house as well.
Mhm.
A few little things, which unfortunately in my country, any type of fix repairs or renovations is so fucking expensive in Australia. It is. I don't know what it's like in America, but it's.
I just did it for the last 3 years on this house. I redid the whole house, and it was $100K of pain that I would never do again.
Yes. Tell me this. Is it time to dump your watches? What do you think? You've seen the market. The market has gone shit. What do you think? Is it time to dump or it's too late? I think it's too late because you're not going to easily get out. You need the second last idiot principle. You can't be the last idiot who buys it. You need to be the second last idiot so you can sell it to somebody else after you're sick of it.
I think anybody that bought the last 3 years during the hype, same with the car market, I didn't buy during that time for either of those things, paid a massive premium, and I feel sorry for you. And if you're wanting to dump your watches, trade it in another watch, buy low, but because you're also selling low. But if you're looking to dump what you have now, you're going to get murdered. Let's be real. If you bought it in the last couple of years, you're way under. Personally, what do you think?
Hey, it's I'll be honest with you. They you got to look at these things. Do they make you happy? Do watches make you happy? Does any of this shit make you happy? If you enjoy it, you got to look at the reasoning for having it. And I often think for many people, if they pick a couple of nice watches and that's it, stop, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually probably the best investment. The people who lose the most are ones who move in and move out.
Yes.
Time to unwind, £2. On a recent flight, I saw air hostesses flange. Wow, that's good on you, man. That is beautiful stuff, man. You can't go wrong with that. I've enjoyed many beautiful air hostesses. I've looked at some. Fuck this. Some of them are the most beautiful women in the world. There. Yeah, I totally get it. Jay Anthony, we were talking before about quality. You're talking quality with me.
Yep.
American cars, they have no quality. Do you think there will ever become a time where they try and make a car to last? I even think Toyota's quality is going through the floor, personally.
I agree with you.
And you've got Toyota's released products like Turbo. They got a baby SUV, which is basically a 1.3 turbo. Fuck, this is. If you've got a turbo car, you have to look after it, especially. You know that they are low. This is a recipe for disaster. People, and then they add stop-start technology to turbo cars. Could you understand that? Why would they do that?
I know exactly why they do it, because when they do this,
car to die.
Well, it's a cheat code to get around the fuel economy and the emissions test. Because when the car is at a stop, they don't count it against fuel economy or emissions. It's not a real value to anybody. It's a way to get around emissions testing.
Yes.
To answer your question, I think at this point, all car brands are going to suck. And I'm really sad to say it breaks my heart, because growing emissions and fuel economy standards, which are, I don't want to get political on any of this stuff, but global warming, however you want to put it, everybody's driving this direction. And that just means more technology and also this disposable iPhone economy. I just think it's going to get worse. It's already bad.
We've got another super chat for you. Rich Mitch, £2. How long does Jay Anthony think the market will keep sinking?
I mean, I don't know. My guess is we're not going to have a good sense of that till, at least in the U.S., after this presidential election passes. I know, at least, and this is, I don't want to get political or talk about that, but in election year specifically, businesses that are luxury goods tend to slow down, and the stock market tends to get a little erratic. I think you've kind of seen that because people want to see which way it's going to go. So I don't think we're really going to know until December or January of next year, to be honest. Because it requires optimism. These are luxury goods that nobody needs. If people are feeling depressed, they're not going to buy it. What do you think?
Look, I think we're in the reality is we had unique situation under COVID. We had people at home who had money and they were bored and they were fearful. There's a whole lot of mixed range of emotions during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now the market's woken up and things are back to normal. I don't think watches are like, I don't think you will get Panda Daytonas below retail. I don't think that's going to happen. There's certain models that will always be, but the premium you pay will certainly shrink. There was videos, people were making videos saying the Panda's going to hit $100,000 US. I mean,
That'd be so stupid.
So fucking ridiculous for a.
That's a 12K watch all day long. That's not a $100,000 watch. I'm sorry.
Exactly. The thing is, I think myself, the watch market and prices is a reflection of the general economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what's the future? Let's be realistic. The future is, it's very hard to crystal ball gaze, okay? So firstly, are we headed for depression? I don't think we are. I think the fundamentals of the economy have some substance in them, okay? That's not to say the economy is great. I didn't say that, but the fundamentals are not 1930s depression. However, the cost of money is not cheap anymore. When money was 2%, it was virtually free money.
Yes.
So I mean, let's be honest there. If the bank gave you $1 million at 2%, that's $20,000 a year. That's honestly not a lot of money to pay for that money.
Yeah, they're giving it away.
When that money becomes 6.5%, oh fuck, that's $65,000 a year in servicing cost, and it's suddenly that's more than three times the cost of that money. That is fucking painful. So what happens then? Well, people say, well, what shit can I get rid of to reduce the debt? They don't want the debt because the money's dear. So that's what happens. I think myself, interest rates really can't really be 2%. That's not necessarily good either. I think interest rates should be about 3 to 4, 5%. That kind of range there. 3 to 5 is kind of the range they should be. Now, the thing is this, let's be honest there. What's going to happen? My own view is, I think the market, let me say this to you. When I say the market is poor, if you look at Chrono 24 or you have a look at what similar watches are selling for at dealers, there's not huge drops. There is some drops, yes, but there's not huge drops. Where the difference is, this is the key. 12 months ago, 18 months ago, if you went to a dealer and say, I got a Submariner, what will you give me for today for cash?
Yep.
The buy it now price, not what he's selling it for, ignore that. What he will give you has dramatically fallen. Okay?
Yes.
And that's because money has become expensive to him. When the money was 2% money, he wants as much inventory as possible. He can't get enough inventory, okay? But when the money is expensive money, he doesn't want to use it unless he's stealing something, okay? I'm just being totally honest there.
Yeah,
so, in my opinion, the lay person who looks on Chrono or they look at David SW and say, oh, what's this watch going for? It doesn't seem that bad. But when you ring up and say, hey, I need to get out of this watch now, the liquidity level has dramatically fallen. Okay, these things are no longer as the liquidity. People were saying, oh, you got the watches, you can easily cash out. You can easily do this. Well, that's over. That's over. And I'm afraid to tell you, I don't think it's coming back. Okay? That's my view. So is it time to dump your watches? You know what? You know what? I don't think you'd want to fire sale anything, but I think for most people out there, it's probably not a bad idea to get rid of trim. What you don't want to do is have a lot of consumer debt. You want to get rid of that. You want to get rid of consumer debt. I've got a few super chats coming up here. We got Ken Fresno, $2. What's the ROI on home renovations, big boy?
Good question.
Well, it depends this. If you do some renovations and it makes you happy with the place you're staying in, that's a huge ROI. If it becomes more usable, for example, what I want to do, I want to put a carport at the front of the house, okay, which would allow, we've got to replace one of the vehicles. I want that vehicle to at least be sun protected better, okay. The other thing I want to do is, in the backyard, it's got a very bodgy patio, okay. It was a very cheap, it was made with just leftover material. It's a very bodgy. I want to take the roof off and put a much better roof on it. So if that area becomes so much more usable, well, that's fantastic. The ROI is massive, because instead of going out, I would be more staying home, enjoying the facilities. That could be a huge ROI, because you enjoy where you live, and it's like look at Mr. J. Anthony's room here. The colors, the gray, it's all trendy, the eames. You just want to sit there and read a book and enjoy life. It's a clear mind. By the way, I'm slowly cleaning my room. I don't know if you notice, it's getting cleaner. I'm actually getting rid of garbage, getting rid of stuff, because I want to be like J. Anthony and have that eames over there on the eames, and I can sit down and read shit. And
it's pretty nice.
It's a good goal for me. I want to get rid of shit I've got here.
Just get OCD. That's the best prescription I can give you. I have it. You will have no clutter instantly. It's a purple pill to fix all your problems. Just get OCD.
Yes.
You're done. Yes. You're good.
Yes. So the ROI on home renovations, if you actually use the home more and enjoy it, and the family enjoys it, it's probably worth every cent. Now, the truth is, I got a quote on the patio and the carport. They wanted $80,000. I nearly shit myself. Fuck me dead. But I'm going to do it in stages. I got another. So the carport, I got 20,000. I've got another quote for 12. Okay, fair enough. And the back, I'm going to see what job he does on that one, and see whether. So, the ROI is great if you can use it. Definitely. We've got John C, $2. Do we expect 25 or 50 BPS of cuts next week? That's the basis points. You know what? It'd probably be 25, my view.
I have no idea. People are really emotional in this market. They do really stupid shit. If you're asking me logically, 25. Actually, real quick, though, I think everybody's making this whole drop in the market some big negative thing. I'm actually very happy about all this, and I'll tell you why. I don't understand all the whining about it. So when I bought this house, and I have a 2.75% note on this house that I'm making more money in the market. So this is the one thing I have any debt on at all, and I can pay it off. I choose not to. Within the year I bought this house and went up $600,000.
You have a 2.75 note, and you have not paid it off.
I have not, because I could pay it off tomorrow. I have that money invested in the market.
2.75 is a great rate. You can't get money for 2.75. HELOC, baby! You're talking my word!
Well, no, here's why I'm excited. I could pay mine off tomorrow, though. So I'm making like 12 in the market. So why would I do that?
Do you owe much on the house? Like, is 100, 200, 300? What sort of realm of debt are we talking?
It's about 400K, but the house is worth.
But the house
is over $1 million, so it's within. I don't want to give away within proportion. It's fine.
Okay, that's a good equity level. You got.
And I could pay it off tomorrow if I wanted to.
Have you put extra in? Have you put extra in?
I put about 150K into the house to renovate it.
No, but have you put extra into the mortgage so you don't have to make any payments or what?
Yep, I've already paid it down 100K. Yeah.
Okay.
But here's why I'm personally happy about it, and also this is the one time I'll say I think it's okay and I can pay it off.
Yeah.
Is my house went up 600K the first year that I had it. My tax bill went up 600K the first year I had it. I was paying ridiculous real estate tax. I didn't plan to sell the house. Texas loves to tax houses, crazy. And then all of a sudden, it went back to basically what I have invested. I can still sell it tomorrow for a profit, but my tax bill has now come down several $100,000. So while I'm living here, I'm not getting taxed like crazy. People aren't driving the stupid market up. And all the watches that I want are all on sale, and I can get them for less money. And cars are coming down in price. To me, everything was so freaking inflated and stupid. If you own a house, you're paying way more taxes than you need to. Watches and cars are way too overpriced. The market's corrected. It's a much better time to buy. I'm like, I have money in the bank. I can buy whatever I want. This is great for me. If you bought it as an investor 2 years ago, you're in trouble. But otherwise, it's a great opportunity. I don't get the negativity about it. And the stock market's been going great. I'm not upset with the stock market either. Anyway.
Okay. No, fair point. I get what you're saying. We've got another super chat here. JD Montreal, $14. Archie, listen to Jay Anthony. Just sell your beautiful body. Archie, that's all. You're a sexy beast, Arch. Thank you. I will certainly consider that. Rich Mitch, £2. Buy gold, not watches then. Do you invest in gold yourself? Are you a metals speculator?
I like the idea, but I have nowhere to stick it. So no, I don't. Most of my money is in the stock market or cash. But I hear Costco in the US now sells gold bars, which is cool.
What do you feel about crypto?
I don't have any. I'll just say that. I don't understand enough about it.
Crypto crap. That's what I think. Crypto crap. It's speculating. It's gambling. Gambling with...
I follow Warren Buffett's model, which is if I was asleep in a coma for 7 years and had to bet where the market's going to be, I know the stuff I have is still going to be around. So I'm risk averse. I like your crypto crap.
I don't think Warren Buffett is really that truthful. Like, he says that he's lived in the same house in Omaha since he bought. That was a fucking expensive house he bought in the first place. He does use a private jet.
That he probably writes off in taxes for his corporation, right?
And let's be totally honest there. He himself, I mean, at a certain point, money doesn't matter. When you're 90, does money really matter? Do you really need to have... Does being worth 5 million any different to being worth 100 million when you're 90?
I know somebody in that exact current situation right now, and you think that they were living off of like food stamps because they don't care. To your point, there's a 15-year-old Subaru sitting in their garage right now, and they don't drive it, and they're happy to go up and down stairs every day. That's their big luxury.
Well, being alive is a luxury when you get to that age, isn't it?
Amen.
Patel Philippe, $2. Jay Anthony, rotary motor or bumper movement?
Can I say no to both? I know I love the RX-7. I think it's a beautiful looking car, but rotary engines to me are just they're what is it, Darwin rejects of the automotive world. They sound cool, but they're not long-term commitments. Omega bumper movements from the 50s I think are kind of cool. They also have quirks, so I'd say bumper movement. What about you?
Look, I would say rotary. You know, just remember the horror story. There was a company called NSU in the 70s.
Yes, German.
Okay. Yeah, German. Yep. Audi took them over. Yep. Very progressive car. I actually like the concept, but it absolutely, those motors kept blowing, you know. And I think most of the trouble was also that people didn't know you had to treat them specially. If you let them cool down and start up, if you treated them, if you drove them like a normal car, they won't last. But if you treat them specially, I'm really convinced they could last longer. You know what I'm saying? And I think a modern BMW, if you treat it every time you jump in there on a cold engine, you'd race off and you'd drive off, and if you do that all the time, it's going to have expensive bills. But if you treat it nicely, warm it up, don't use the stop-start, replace the oil and filters every 6,000 miles instead of every 10 to 15,000 miles, I think you might get a lot longer. Now, there are plastic bits that will inevitably break anyhow. There are plastic bits on that motor, which doesn't matter how well. If you treat it well, it probably won't break as much. I will be honest with you. But the reality is, I think if you treat these things better, you should get much, much longer out of them. People don't necessarily treat things that great. We've got another super chat. We've got a couple of super chats. We've got Patel Philippe, $5. Which is better, a split window C2 Corvette or a double split Lange? Oh, fuck. I'd go for the double split Lange.
Same all day long. And I'm a Corvette guy.
Corvette, it's early 60s, aren't they? 60s?
Yeah, split window's a 1963. It's a one-year only Corvette. And they stopped making because they're really hard to see out the back of them. It's a beautiful car. But
Philippe, $2. Jay Anthony, would you take a Daytona, ceramic Daytona, or a 997.1 Carrera? Carrera S! Fuck it! Carrera S!
If it's a 7-speed manual, not the PDK shit, I will take the Carrera all day long. If it's a PDK,
fuck that PDK shit. Nobody wants that. That PDK shit is garbage. Garbage. We've got Patel Philippe, $2. AC3, BMW 3 Series, 4-pop model, or Meteorite Pepsi?
That's a question for Archie.
I'll tell you honestly, the Meteorite Pepsi would be a much better thing. However, you do need a car still. You don't forget that. You do still need a car. Someone said something to me. I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine. Okay, you're a bit young, but let me say, he's talking about investment. Oh, this is such a cool, it's going to be worth. I said, you know what? When you're in your 50s, let's be totally truthful. If you can live to 82, like I'm 52, so 30 years.
Yep.
Someone dies at 82, they say, oh, he had a good life. So that means if you die anything after 72, you haven't really been robbed, have you?
I think 80 is young, but that's my bias.
Okay. The truth is, see, we've only got, in my case, 30 years left at max.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy, sir. I think we could change some lifestyle.
How long? No, well, it's just statistics. How long does the average American live for? They live for high 70s, early 80s. Well, that's just statistics.
How do the average Americans live? How are they eating? Where do they exercise, if they exercise? What's their daily stress levels, their blood pressure? What do they smoke or not? There's a lot of other statistics. I'm in the medical field. You're asking. I love this stuff.
But at the end of the day, just like with the BMW, right? When you've got plastic guides for the chains, the plastic's not going to last forever, okay?
Interference engines go bye-bye when those go. Yes.
You understand?
I do. Preventative maintenance is a bitch on those.
It is, because the fucking thing's at the other end of the engine too.
That's the Audi way. Yeah, Audi is take the engine out to do that kind of crap, right? They love that.
It's expensive, isn't it?
Whoever does it, they know they're not going to do it, so why do they care?
Yes.
That's the owner.
Yes, you're right. We got super chat here from JD MTL, $7. Archie, just watched the movie The Gambler with John Goodman and Mark Wahlberg. The fuck you scene. Watch it, big boy. I actually that scene that you've seen that. That's where he says any idiot knows if you haven't seen it.
I have not seen this. No, I don't got much.
You must have seen this. Come on.
I have not seen this.
How could you not have seen this?
I don't know. I've been under a rock. I don't even have any subscription services. I don't even have cable. I just have YouTube for free.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'll see if I can find it.
I know John Goodman. He's from Roseanne to me, but I heard he's lost a lot of weight.
Did you like Roseanne?
I was a little young when it was on the first show, so I was watching Frasier instead. But that's all right.
Okay, I'm gonna play this. Okay, we're gonna play this, and I'd like to hear, because I've actually played this a few times. They're gonna play it for you, and I want you to tell me what you think. Okay.
You get up $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Somebody wants you to do something? Fuck you. Boss pisses you off? Fuck you. Own your house. Have a couple bucks in the bank. Don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody at any social level. Did your grandfather take risks?
There you go. What did you think of that?
It's poetic. I love it. Yes. Listen to him.
Any idiot knows. Let's look at that again.
That's the fire way. You live off 4%.
$1 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you.
There you go. How's that?
The fuck you's true. You know, when you know you're okay, you worry less about people pissing you off. It is freedom.
I tell you a channel I've been watching lately. I watch Exotic Car Play Place, the guy from Canada.
Yeah, he was all about BMW reliability for years. I hear he's mixing it up now.
Now he's retired. He's got Retire Is Me. And he was a 53-year-old engineer. He got pushed out of his job. And now he's making retirement videos. I kind of get it. I get it. It's I understand why he's doing that. And that's partly why I got the HELOC. You're never going to agree with me, and that's perfectly fine, Jay Anthony.
I'm not.
It's
but I will say the fuck you money thing that they're talking about doesn't really exist, right? Because if you're drawing on 3.5%, 4%, you're living a normal lifestyle. You're not living in a McMansion with a Ferrari in the front yard. This is different. So this is sleeping in comfort and not worried about your bills coming in. This is a different level of comfort than how they play it. It's your HELOC comfort, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with your HELOC. But if it works for you, hey.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying there. We got Patel Philippe, $5. AC3, thoughts on article to your watch out, legendary author. Let's have a look. What is it? What's he telling me's happened? Oh, Nick Folks has released a book on Rolex Submariners. Cool. Very cool indeed. Nick Folks introducing the first authorized history of the Submariner. Wow, look at this. Beautiful book. That'd be amazing. The Submariner, Rolex Submariner. That's worth buying.
What do they want? $150 for it? I know they're overpriced it.
The Mondani books are really expensive. You know the Mondani? But yeah, no, Submariner, I think that's a great book. He's a very good author. He's very, very good. I really like the work he does, actually. Nick Folks, he worked for Paddock Magazine. He wrote many articles in Paddock Magazine, and I thought he was quite good, actually. Now we've got another super chat here. Patel Philippe, $5. Jay Anthony, 996 Tiptronic, 911 Turbo, or Amiga Speedy in Moonshine Gold?
The Tiptronic literally makes me nauseous. That's a Metzger motor ruined by a shit transmission. Omega, Speedmaster, and Moonshine Gold. I'm even getting upset. Tiptronic is a manufacturing defect. That cringes me. Hate that transmission.
You know what the least wanted 911s are? It's the four-wheel. It's the all-wheel drive with Tiptronic and a convertible.
The Soccer Mom Special, yes.
I got to be honest with you. I really like. In my country, 911s are too expensive, but I think the 911 is I love the 964. That's my type of 911.
Yep, and I'm a 993 guy.
Sorry?
And I'm the 993 guy. I like the generation right after you, but lasted the air cooled. But yours is considered more pure.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. I think a 911 needs to be air cooled.
I'm with you completely.
The sound.
Yep,
I mean,
totally different.
That's what it is there. It's we've got another super chat here. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got a lot of super chat. Jesus Christ.
You're popular.
Tell Philippe $10. Jay Anthony, what's sexier, the front spoiler on the bumper of the US Countach? Cuss you Americans wanted safety, or the helium escape valve on a Seamaster?
Patel, it's the helium escape valve on the Seamaster because that's how you activate the mines for the Pierce Brosnan Bond watches. That's a feature.
100% right. We got Madman, $5. Jay Anthony, if Arch won't make a cameo.com account to make money, will you? How else am I going to send birthday message to someone else in the Archie verse, for fuck's sake?
Nobody knows who I am. Nobody would want it. And on top of that, if I say anything offensive, it might get me in trouble in the job that I actually want. So no, thank you.
Yeah, you've got fuck you money.
I like my job, though. It actually is a great job. I'm very grateful for my job. My boss is awesome. It's a fun job. I love my job.
Patel Philippe, $5. We need a live stream on Jay Anthony's and AC3 on here discussing pairing a Tissot PRX to a Geo Metro.
I prefer the Geostorm, Patel. The Geostorm GSI it's great.
We got Patel Philippe, $5. Please give Nick Folk's quote from Patek magazine on the 5107. Thanks, and show Jay Ant the watch you're referring to. It's we got Mike the Snake joining us. Hey Mike, how are you?
I'm great.
How are things going for you, my friend?
Hi, Anthony.
How is Porsche? Speaking Porsche, how is Porsche?
Porsche's great. That's where I was yesterday. Instead of on your show, I was out enjoying my car, and I'm actually thinking about doing it again because the weather is so absolutely god darn perfect. It's such a nice day, and I'm really starting to enjoy the car. So, yeah, I may bail.
5107. Look at that there. Absolutely beautiful Patek. Just a simple Calatrava. Very, very gorgeous. What Nick, folks, I don't have that quote on hand, but what he said is that 5107 is great for somebody who's just starting their Patek journey or somebody who's a seasoned collector. It said you could add a number of just a fantastic watch to be the start or for an experienced collector. And
you've owned it, right?
Yes, I had one of these. Yeah. I had one. We've got a super chat from Rich Mitch, £2. What are steel Rolex steel sports watches? Any of the steel sports is like the Explorer, the Submariner, the GMT, the Daytona, they call them the professional line because they had purposes. The Yachtmaster, the Milgauss, they were called professional line because they served a purpose. Things like the day date, that's not a profession. That's more of a. It's kind of strange. Any other company would be saying the day date is a sports watch because it's waterproof. A lot of watches are not waterproof like that. It's it's quite. If you look at it, it's quite interesting how it is. It's very interesting. Steel sports watches, sports. We've got a super chat here. Patel Philippe, $5. AC3, pull up a Honda Del Sol, and Jay Ant can tell you what car he drove when people were putting around Michigan. Sexy beasts.
When those cars were on the streets, I just got my license and I was driving a Word. I don't like the Del Sol, but I like it better than what I had. I had a 1992 Buick LeSabre Limited, so I would have taken the Del Sol.
CRXs in Australia, we called them a CRX. They were a good car, weren't they?
I mean, they're fine. I think they're fugly, but I know most people disagree with me. There's still quite a few on the road by me too. I see them actually quite a bit. I prefer the Prelude of this era of Honda.
Prelude was much more expensive. Mikey, how are you, my friend? We got a super chat here. John C, $2. Mike the Snake, any thoughts on the Russian Tu-95? Thanks.
I think that's the Bear, their big giant monster bomber that's kind of equivalent to our B-52, if I'm not mistaken. And it's an amazing plane. It uses propellers, turboprops, but it goes jet speeds. I mean, it flies at like 600 miles an hour, and it's the only thing is about it is it's insanely loud, and that's why in America they never went to ductless propellered versions of jets because they started experimenting with them. I remember seeing one of the jets with the engines on the tail, and one was a regular jet engine, and one was a ductless prop. It had like 8 blades maybe, and they were kind of arced. And the only problem with it was just too insanely loud.
Mike, just cover me for a minute, Mike. I'll be back.
Oh, anyways, that's why they never, in America at least, I think, never went with the ductless props because these guys use them to great effect. What do you think, Anthony? Somebody said in the chat that I called you Tony. I didn't think I said Tony when I said hi earlier. I thought I said Anthony.
You can call me Tony. I'm not offended. It's fine.
Okay, well, somebody just mentioned it in the chat, but they also like to.
There's also a lot of check innuendo and trash in the chat, so I don't know what I wouldn't worry about it. But.
Oh yeah, I'm very well used to it, but if I did say Tony, anyways,
I've been called Tony the Tiger before too, so it can't be.
Anyway. I've been called much worse as well. What do you think of the Bear, Anthony?
I actually know a lot more about like commercial airplanes than I do military ones. So when I look up older planes, I'm thinking of like the Lockheed L-1011 and versus the McDonnell Douglas. So that's a cool plane, but quite honestly, I couldn't tell you much about it. So I just learned more from you than I know about it.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely in the domestic field. Like with cars and with now airplanes. I'm learning because like my dad was in the Air Force and flew F-104s, and I've been all about like old vintage 60s cars, and you're so well versed and knowledgeable in all of the newer cars, all the computer stuff, and I can take a 60s car apart blindfolded, right? They're so simple. And today's computer cars, and I'm not really up on the models of Mercedes and foreign cars, I'm more of a American guy. So I listen and learn from you very much.
We got a super chat. Patel Philippe, $5. AC3 and J Anthony. 812 super fast V12 Cylindri, or what the fuck Ferrari called their latest car.
Yeah. It's got a lot of controversy for the front end that I like. It reminds me of the 1970s Daytona era. I actually really like the new one. But
I got to tell
for
you,
me,
one of the most beautiful car. I really love the Ferrari 599.
that to me is the last real V12 Bent Grand Tour, because you could get a manual transmission in that car. So that to me is when that car died. I'm with you. These cars are terribly unreliable, though, from people I know that have had them. They get sticky switches and all sorts of dumb problems.
Sorry, they're terribly unreliable, or what would you say?
Yeah, what I know about the 599, I've never owned one, but what I've heard is that they're not particularly reliable. That they have like really dumb problems, like sticky switches and electrical gremlins that irritate the owners. But I don't own one, so who knows?
Do you think you'd ever get a Ferrari yourself, there, J. Anthony?
I legitimately occasionally look for 550 Maranellos, but I don't want the market going at Marty more than it is. But to me, the 575, if you can find a manual, is incredibly rare, and they're ridiculously expensive. And they have the 550 Barchetta Pininfarina, which is $500,000 plus car. The 550 Maranello, they're all manual transmissions. It was the last Grand Touring V12 Ferrari that they were all made with a stick shift. I just think the car looks beautiful. That is, and the 456, I kind of like it. Honestly, I used to see those in Michigan a lot when I was a kid. I always thought they looked kind of old and cheap because they reminded me of the Mondial. I've only learned to appreciate them now as I know more about them. I think they're a nice car, but they look too much like a Mondial to me. You like those?
I think I prefer the 355 after it.
That to me is pinnacle Ferrari. Also unreliable as hell.
Unreliable as hell?
These cars are awful cars to own. Engine out, belt service. They have exhaust problems. They're known to catch on fire. These cars are known to be terrible to own. Very high maintenance cost. That's why they were really cheap for a while. In the U.S., these were $50,000 cars for like 10 years because people were afraid to own them. They've shot up since COVID, but they used to be pretty cheap here. They sound amazing. They sound really good.
Do they have a V12 in them?
No, they're V8s.
V8s.
Yeah.
Even Ferrari's V8s sound glorious.
This is a flat plane crank. You'd love it. Yeah, it sounds.
Flat plane crank. It sounds like two inline 4 by motorcycles together. You know. You bet.
Here we go. We got Patel Philippe $2. Bugatti Veyron or Lange Datagraph, more iconic.
What kind of a question is that? That is so obvious. Veyron all day. Nobody knows what a Datagraph is other than us nerds. You disagree?
Yeah. Agree, 100%.
Patel Philippe $5. What's more reliable? A DD from a hood dealer or a 10-year-old Maserati? What's a DD?
A daily driver.
Day date. No?
Or a day date from a hood dealer. Either a daily driver from a hood dealer or a 10-year-old Mercedes. I would say day date.
If we're talking the Rolex, you can always fix the Rolex. The Maserati is always.
How bad is a Maserati? Tell me this. How bad is Maserati?
I don't know. If anybody's in the comments, please cover yours. I apologize. I think they're a heap of trash. And I'm mostly Italian. And I'm saying that. It hurts me to say that.
Are they based on somebody else's car?
So Maserati has been the orphan. Well, Maserati, Lotus, there's some of these companies that just get thrown around. They're constantly being adopted and then dumped. Maserati most recently was part of like Daimler Chrysler / Stellantis / whatever the hell they were, Fiat. I mean, they have all these different owners. In the last 10 years, they really the last 15 years, they've really cost cut them. They were never reliable to begin with, but now they have all this Chrysler underpinnings from like the 200 Chrysler. If you remember those, the Sebring replacement. So like the main interface in the center dash is Chrysler. The window switches, the build quality is not great. They're really whatever. I'm being mean. I don't like them.
What went wrong with Maserati? Do you like Alfa Romeo?
I've been afraid to own one, but yeah, I like the old ones, like the 164.
Yeah, I had a Spider a long time ago.
Those are beautiful.
What's that?
Yeah, those are beautiful. I agree. They're beautiful cars.
Yeah.
A lot of the Alphas are fun.
It was a nightmare to own. It kept blowing head gaskets, but
was hot blooded. Yeah.
It's Italian. You know, it's got character.
I had one of these. It's like a 3 Series competitor.
How did it treat you?
fucking. It's like dating a supermodel on crack cocaine.
I get
It could
excited
be
when
amazing.
yeah.
It had that stupid robotized transmission.
Oh,
Right, and the best way to describe it is it's like having a girlfriend or a buddy who you put a blindfold on and he does the clutch. Okay?
That's great, Arch.
It is
Well,
absolutely.
what's it supposed to do? Does it does the clutch for you or something?
It has a clutch. It's robotized, so it's sort of
It's just like a mechanical.
It was an idea to change. I mean, dual clutches killed that idea. Okay, remember SMG? It was BMW SMG did that. Remember that?
yeah. Lamborghini had e-gear. There was all these systems, late '90s, early 2000s, that didn't age well. They were all manual transmissions that they automated. They basically bolted crap onto a manual transmission. They were designed as manuals and then screwed up with. Yeah. The SMG could actually be converted back into a manual transmission if you have more money and time than brains.
I know the dual clutch transmissions. I mean, they seem to hold up pretty well.
Just don't look at Ford Focus. Those are almost all guaranteed to fail.
Which ones?
The Ford Focus is.
Oh no, I'm talking.
I don't even if you had the Porsche
European, like ZF or
Why was the Ford Focus so bad, Jay Anthony?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the car, but that transmission just was 100% failure rate. Everybody I knew that had one, the engine, the transmission blew out. I don't know what they did wrong with it, but they all broke.
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider a dual clutch transmission on a low end, low cost car. You know,
it's like Nissan and their CVT.
$2. Here we go. We got a question for Jay Anthony.
Oh, 355. Not hard.
355, which I like the look of these. I like the look.
That one in blue on the second row is spectacular. I take it in blue or green or even yellow. I mean,
Lamborghini Jelpa.
You like the Jelpa? I know you were talking about it.
They weren't that great, really, were they?
I've never driven one of these.
Kind of looks like a Lotus Esprit a little bit. At least the yellow one on the far right. Looks with the headlights up, it kind of looks like an Esprit.
Lamborghini always had some cheaper cars. Like they're expensive. They were never cheap.
I like the pop-up headlamp. I miss those.
Patel Philippe, $5. AC3 is the AP Royal Oak chronograph Panda a good watch to pair with a 812 Superfast. Nick G in the chat asking. Let's have a look at the. Let's have a look. 812 Superfast. See, I got to be honest with you. A lot of these Ferrari. Oh, it was not. It was actually a. It was a 812. 812, not 512. 812.
Wow. See,
amazing looking car.
Now we're talking what I consider elegant.
Do you ever watch that show, Nico? You know Nico Leonard? He had one of these, I think.
I don't think so. I've seen JM, who's another YouTuber, and he's in the UK. He had one of these.
The only Ferraris I really ever like bothered to learn like even 2 iotas about were like the Magnum PI Ferrari and then the F40 and the F50. And only because I watched the show on TV, that European show where they ran them on track and gave good descriptions and gave really good on track sound and everything. So it's nice very educative to learn about those 2 cars. But those are the only 2 cars that I really know anything about Ferrari wise. So
The F40
I
is really cool. When they have the back open, it like flanges backwards. It's like a single piece. That car is
it was the first car to be built like a Formula One car, where the engine bolts to the front tub, and then the suspension and the whole back half of the car is connected to the engine and transaxle. I believe they were the first I don't know if they were the first composite chassis, but they were the first car to be assembled in that manner, if I'm not mistaken. I think you would know, wouldn't you, Alexander?
I don't know.
The F40? Yeah, I think that was one of its big things was it was really groundbreaking because it was the first car to be put together like a race car, where the whole rear suspension and rear end was bolted to the transaxle and engine and bolted as an assembly to the front half of the car.
I didn't know that. You might know that more than I did. I remember when I saw it in person. The whole suspension's exposed around the engine cradle. It is just beautiful to look at, for sure.
Oh, I can imagine. I had my Pantera. It was really cool to pull the cover off and just look down upon basically the same thing. Yeah, I got a real thing about over gearboxes. Ancient ones. Transaxles specifically. Because I've looked at building my own mid-engine. I built a mid-engine Corvair when I was 20.
Oh, okay.
I put a 327 in a 66 Corvair Corsa. Put it through the door, welded in a subframe, and got the transmission modified, and you bolt a bell housing up to the front end of it because it's basically a Saginaw tranny, and the Corvair engine spin backwards, so everything spins in the right direction. So blah blah blah. I built one of those, and I love mid-engine.
I know mid-engine is better from a center of gravity and just like neutral handling perspective. I love front engine rear-wheel drive because I love the wild characteristics. I love getting the back end on a car and keeping it on the edge. At least the mid-engine cars that I've driven, and I'm not the best driver, I assume, but to me they're either really like they understeer a lot, or once you get them like too far, they basically just slide sideways off the road. They're very hard to kind of balance. At least the ones I've driven, like I've beaten the crap out of like a Cayman race car and some similar stuff. They're very safe, and I don't like feeling safe. I like feeling scared. I'm sure the Pantera, I'm sure, was scary when you had it running right.
A lot of cars have what's called understeer to snap oversteer.
Yes.
So they push, and then they just go around on you, fucking, with nothing you can do about it. And that's not good. Front wheel drive cars just push because they're front wheel drive. Rear wheel drive, yeah, you get a car you can put on the edge and work that edge. That's what 911s are so fun to drive, because
I just got to catch up. Super chat, swinging kangaroo, $2. Oh my, we have another Michiganer in the house. You betcha. And we got Patel Philippe, $2. Patek Gondolo or Lotus Esprit?
Hold on a second. I want to ask that last one. As a former Michigander, what part of Michigan they're from? So please write back.
Exactly right there. Oh, Gondolo. I would take the Lotus. What do you think? Would you take the Lotus?
Oh, without a second thought, I would take a late 70s turbo, or I would take the twin turbo V8 from the late 90s. What would you take?
Oh, you know what? Lotus, the Esprits are, I actually had a friend of mine who's got 4 of them. When I went to Melbourne, he took me for a drive. The balance and handling on them is incredible. Like Lotus, really incredible cars. The thing is with them, you've got to realize is that they the fiberglass. They were a British car, and the big thing with them is that they are very they're different, but amazing handling. I would want. He actually told me the one that's more fun because he's got a few of them is actually an 80s one. He had an 80. He had a couple different. I'm not an expert on Lotus, but he actually said this one is more fun because it's just how it handles, and it's not about because they used many different engines. You know, like they use a lot of Toyota engines, they use Ford engines, they use different engines there. But amazing. I always loved the Lotus. Lotus was always a very, very beautiful car.
Archie, what do you think of the Lotus Evora?
Oh, I love that. That's a great car.
And
that's also what they made out of. As Jay Anthony said, that's the base for many other cars, like the.
Is that's what I was wondering about? Now, Anthony had me like my mind reeling the other day after like saying how many different cars were really based on this car platform or this car platform, and so it just opened my eyes a little bit. Now I look at a car and I have to know more about it. Like, what is it really? Like the Supra, it's a BMW. It's a Z4 with a Toyota body on it. And funny thing, I saw a show about that, and they got the original designer to design the new one. And in an interview, they asked him, what is he most proud of about his new Supra? And he said, the sound.
B58.
That was his answer. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, you just simply dropped your body onto a BMW, right? You can make it sound however you want, and the engine does pretty much compare to the 2JZ. It's awesome in its own right. But the sound, I mean, I would have thought, he would have said something about his design compared to the old design, because his old design is so iconic. Nothing to do about just simply the sound.
We got a super chat. Patel
Yeah.
for $2. He says, "Okay, Jay Anthony, tell us what you dislike about McLaren's service costs."
So real quick, Swinging Kangaroo made the comment. We're from the same part of Michigan, so that's just crazy to me. So hello. My issue with the McLaren is after the McLaren F1, now they're basically creating. I mean, so I need to be careful and stick to the facts. If Gordon Murray's T50 was a McLaren product, he just came out with this V12 manual transmission supercar. McLaren would be my favorite car brand today, along with Pagani, right? With the Zonda F Roadster, that being a manual.
That new car's like a vacuum cleaner car, right?
The McLarens, and again, I've never owned one, so what do I know? But what I do know about people who do own them have told me
the new one has like motors to suck it to the ground.
Active aerodynamics. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the new one, the new F1 or the designer you mentioned, Anthony. What was his name?
Gordon Murray. So
Gordon Murray. Yeah,
behind the McLaren F1, which to me is the definitive McLaren.
I saw a show on that new car that he just came out with, that he just designed, and it utilizes motors to draw, to make kind of like Chaparral did back in the day, where they had a snowmobile engine just sucking air from inside the car to suck it to the ground, and he takes advantage of that. It's done with electric motors, I believe.
That to me is one more thing to break, but that sounds cool. I mean, the issue I have with McLarens in general, I don't know if you've heard. I mean, again, I've never owned one. Is that they are extremely poorly made, and you look on YouTube and how much of this is clickbait crap, but there's tons of brand new ones breaking down, parts falling off of them, the interior ungluing itself, all sorts of just quality issues. And to me, it's like, why would you buy one over a Ferrari or a Lamborghini when it's going to depreciate terribly? Their resale is awful, and they're not what they were, which is they came from the McLaren F1, and now they're doing like a Me Too car that's fast. But if they do the Gordon Murray T50, Anyway, I think they're on the wrong track. What do I know, though? I would never buy one, so not fair.
We got another super chat. John C, $2. Thoughts on single mums? Are they okay to date or no?
When you get to be my age, the answer changes from when you're Anthony's age. Sometimes you don't have a choice in the matter, you know?
I'm not touching this one. I'll leave this to you two.
The best advice, let me say this to you, okay? The best advice is this with single mums. The only single mums you want to date are widows. Okay, let me explain. Because if they've got children, right, that normally means that the guy is so pissed off with her, either two things. Number one, she's an extremely poor judge of character with who she chooses to have children with. Or number two, she is such a nasty bitch that a sane person would sacrifice not seeing their children to move out because she drives you insane. So either way, very, very dangerous, because guys normally won't move out and abandon the. So the fact that they are like that, extremely difficult. But as you said there, once you get to a certain age, once you're 50,
most kids are grown and out of the house.
Where there is a rainbow at the end of the tunnel is that the children have grown out and moved out.
Exactly.
That's the rainbow at the end of the tunnel, is when the children have moved out, and that's a good thing. So I think that's we got a super chat here. Patel Philippe, $2. Cosset Conan CCX versus Pagani. See, both of these brands here, how the hell would you get them serviced?
Koenigsegg. So look up a Pagani Zonda F Roadster. That car is pornographic.
The Pagani Zonda is
manual transmission. The interior is so mechanical looking; it looks like it's watch inside. It is.
But Koenigsegg, their latest car has that weird 3-cylinder engine that makes like 1,000 horsepower, and then they're another 1,000 in electric power, and they have a CVT transmission. So when they take off, they just like a snowmobile. They just go up to a certain RPM, and the car catches up to the power. So when they take off, they just go, and they just off into the distance. You don't hear them shift. You don't hear them nothing. You just hear them disappear at like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
But I don't know how you get these things serviced. How the fuck would you get the work?
And Carlino's made a comment in the chat. It's true. They actually will come to you. They've had crashes on racetracks. They'll send a whole team over to you to fix the car live. And Pagani, it's owned by Horatio Pagani, who was a designer. He did jobs for Lamborghini, actually.
Yeah,
he's like a legit car enthusiast. I mean, Koenigsegg too. They're both that being
affordable.
Oh, these are multi-million dollar cars. Both self-created by auto enthusiasts. I mean, these are passion projects.
Yes.
We got another super chat. Aaron Mikkels. Can we discuss something actually interesting? Imperial Battlestar versus Republic Cruiser. Let's discuss what's ideal and practical. What's he talking about?
Well, Imperial Star Cruiser is Star Wars, right? What's a Republic Cruiser? Is that maybe a cruiser from the Resistance? Not sure.
Oh, I see.
Good question, though.
Are you a Star Wars fan, Jay Anthony?
No, I'm a Mass Effect fan, and the correct answer here is the SR2 Normandy. That is the correct answer. None of this stuff.
What are you a fan of?
So I'm a gamer, because of course I would be as a millennial.
Oh, okay. I'm not a gamer, so I know zero.
Yeah, I don't know Star Wars. I tried to get into it, but I couldn't.
So what year were you born, in the 90s or 2000s?
Different decade, but thank you for both of those compliments.
You born in the 80s?
I was born in the very late 80s, yes.
Wow, okay. Wow, very, very cool indeed there. Patel Philippe, $5. Sent you some photos from Nick Giorgio in the chat. Tell us your thoughts on the watch and the car. Holy shit. We got some
this is funny with
amazing
a Ferrari. Yeah, let's see it.
Holy shit, this is some amazing stuff. This is actually live photos. We're going to pull it up. Okay, here we go. Pulling it up on the screen now. Here we go on the screen. What do you think of that?
Oh my! Well, yeah, that's the car we had pictured earlier, or similar to it. At least it's got the same swoop on the side. That's elegant. I believe this car is all-wheel drive and has a V12 in it, right?
It's a rear-wheel drive, and it's a V12. Yeah.
Okay. I remember seeing a show where they had one like this. It was offered in both rear-wheel and all-wheel drive. And they drove it in the snow.
You're probably thinking of the FF, if I had to guess.
Fuck! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Is that beautiful? Is that beautiful or not?
And they spec'd it the best way to get resale out of it. It's the Ferrari red with the shield. Nice. It's a gorgeous car.
What do you think of the watch?
I do like me a Royal Oak Chrono offshore.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. Ceramic, look at that. Look, big pushers there. Hasn't got those stupid rubber pushers. Beautiful watch. Ferrari. What do you think of that? A Ferrari with an AP. Is that pairing?
That's the right color interior too. Yeah, the person who spec'd this car knows how to spec a Ferrari to have the best market value.
I got to tell you, Jay Anthony, I want to say something to you. I actually, most cars these days are worthless after 10 years. Agreed?
Yeah, some of them are worthless after 5 years. Any Range Rover or other cars out of warranty are considered basically worthless.
My 3 Series BMW, right? I'll be honest with you, it's really not worth much after the 5-year period. How long do you think my car would seriously last? Come on, you're the expert. How many years do you think I should get out of my B48?
I legitimately don't know. I know you mentioned last time you knew a guy that said 7 years. If it was a E36 built in the 90s, you should get 30 years out of it, no problem. Your car, I think most owners are going to get probably 12 years out of them before they get crushed because they have some transmission or engine problem or the software breaks out and they just get crushed because they're financially irreplaceable. My guess is with you, if you baby it and keep it, I mean, how long are you going to keep it? Sounds like you're already looking to dump it. I mean, if you sell it, the next person I think is going to run it in the ground probably in 12 years. It's at least in the US, the first owner would keep it for about 3 years. The second owner would keep it about another 2 years. And then the third and fourth owner basically send it to the scrapyard because they don't do oil changes. They don't change the transmission fluid. They don't change the belts. They don't change the tires. They fall apart. I mean, in the US, a 10-year-old BMW is not something I'd want to own. The F Series especially, those in the US are junk cars after the third owner. This is a better car, though. I know it's a better car. I agree with you. It is a better car.
No. I totally get it. I got to tell you, I think realistically, 10 years old with 200,000 kilometers, it's worthless.
Yeah, that's what, 120,000 miles. Yeah, in the US, it'd be unsellable unless it was on a used car lot that was buy here, pay here.
Buy what?
So in the US, we have these car lots. They're called buy here, pay here. It's basically where they take advantage of people that can't afford cars and offer them like 20% loans. That's where that car is going to be in the US in that time period on one of those lots. And some poor person making minimum wage is going to go bankrupt driving it.
Well, he'll feel good before he goes bankrupt, but won't he?
Well, you took really good care of it as the first owner, so he'll be better off than he would have been otherwise. And it's a great color. I actually saw one today at a parking lot, and I looked at it, and I'm like, that's a nice car. That is a really nice car. was a 330 as well.
They aren't made to last. They really aren't made to last, I'm afraid. Even Mercedes, if you bought a Mercedes, isn't made to last. It's we've had this conversation. Let's steer it back into cars there. You said you had a Corvette before and you got rid of it because the interior was literally garbage.
Yeah, it's actually on YouTube. Not that people should watch the video. I had it 6 years and I bought it with 11,000 miles and I sold it with just under 50,000 miles. The car was, to its credit, extremely reliable. And nothing broke with it except for dumb stuff. I went through 3 window regulators, so my windows would get stuck and they wouldn't go up or down. That was because GM put some lightweight crap in it. My clutch pedal stuck to the floor because I boiled my clutch fluid because I drove it enthusiastically. And something else, like the power antenna broke. It was dumb stuff. The car never had a check engine light, never had an airbag light. The car was very reliable. But it just was, every time I got it, it just felt cheap. I mean, it had the worst seats of any GM. The designer of that car, I know who he is. The seats were terrible. There was no support. They were cheap leather. The dashboard had large gaps in it. It creaked. My top leaked. My seals dried out. It would rain inside my car if it had like a storm. I couldn't take it through a car wash without the top leaking. And the car I bought with 11,000 miles. It just was not.
Why would you take it through a car wash? Stop. Some
people just use car wash.
I hand washed it.
What do you mean with the brushes like that? What the fuck are you talking about?
I hand washed my car. My point is, you couldn't. If any normal person couldn't have. I did hand wash the car. I really did, legitimately. But I literally would come out and there'd be a puddle in my driver's seat. Actually, that was the thing too. It let in so much water during a rainstorm that it shorted out my driver's seat, which caused a battery drain, which let the car die after a day. So that was that was dumb.
My BMW, I hit a deer, but I'd slowed down 99% of the way, and I cracked my headlight housing, and I took it to the Honda car wash, and they high pressure blasted water into the headlight, and it just lit up every fucking.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they wanted $3,000 to replace the xenon headlight, so I found one for $200 on Craigslist and pulled the front end off the car myself and fixed it. But it was the xenon that turned when you turn the wheel. I want to stand corrected. What I was saying about the F40 and the suspension or the construction, it's the F50 that was built that way. It was built like a Formula One car.
I love the F50. Yeah, that's right. The engine was bolted to the chassis. You're right. I have heard that.
Yeah, I just looked up the chassis of the F40, and it's just like a normal, tube chassis. The F50 is like that of a Formula One car. It's a composite front section that literally the entire everything behind the cockpit is the engine and transmission, and everything's bolted to that like a Formula One car.
I want to ask you something, J. Anthony. Do you think General Motors, with the Corvette, they could actually make a quality vehicle? They say, okay, we're going to make it. We're not going to price it so competitively. We're going to say, right, it's going to be the switchgear inside is going to be much better quality. I'm not mean non-plastic, but higher quality and stuff that lasts. Would they ever produce a car that lasts and say, right, we're going to take a full 180-degree turn. We're going to make stuff that is quality. Could they ever pull back, or it's too late? Toyota's.
Yeah, no, I mean, they have. I mean, the real reason I sold the Corvette was because it was Millennium Yellow, and everybody knew it was my car, and I could not do anything outside the speed limit without people calling me up and saying they saw me being a jackass somewhere where I live, and I didn't like being that visible. That was the biggest reason I sold that car. But to your point, I mean, the C5 that I had, the C6, and I'd say the C7 too, they're all quite reliable cars. It's more the interior quality. And the interior quality, to GM's credit, in the C7 generation and now in the C8 is actually very nice for the money. And if you bought a C8 Z06, which is a flat plane crank car, or the E-Ray, or even the base car, they're honestly, and they're automatic only, so it's a non-starter for me. But if you compare that car to the equivalent Cayman or the Boxster, it's a much better car. It is roomier, it gets better fuel economy, it's seriously way faster, it's cheaper to service, and it's probably going to be a better thing to own for 10 years.
The mid-engine Corvette is what, the C8 or the C7
C8.
and 8? Yeah, the C8. What do you, I really like the mid-engine Corvette. You know, I'm a mid-engine guy, but I just, it was kind of like, it's about time, basically, is you know, kind of how I felt about it all, because I really felt, you know, the Corvette as a supercar hanging with supercar performance over the years should have, you know, switched the platform to what it is now a long time ago.
See, I'm the one person that I will tell you that it is universally a better car, and 99% of the world thinks it's a better car, and it's a better performing car. It's sacrilegious to me. They basically ruined what the Corvette is about to me, which is a affordable, scary sports car. And now it's polished. It's like, to me, it's too European now. I want a car that's
now it's refined.
It's not a Harley anymore. It's a super bike, right? Which is great, but it's not what it was.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Absolutely.
We've got a super chat here. Photo from Mike the Mistake in your WhatsApp. Photo from Mike the Mistake. Let's have a look. What is the? Oh, yes, sir. This is photo from Mike the Mistake. 2 Submariners. Absolutely beautiful. I got to tell you something, guys. You know, you get a Rolex Submariner. This is quintessential buying, just quintessential relaxing buying. Look at this. What do you think of this? Fuck me dead. No date. Or look at this. No date.
Yeah.
Kermit.
Yeah.
Or a Kermit. Kermit, look at that. What would you take?
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
The Kermit. I could have had one of those for $6,000 like 10 years ago, and I didn't want to do it. Now I hate myself.
Same here.
Did you ever have talks to your dad and say, Dad, why don't they improve the quality of GM? Why don't they do this? Why don't they bite the Japanese in their ass? Beat the Japanese at their own game? You told me some pretty amazing things. You said General Motors bought Corollas. They couldn't understand how they did it for the price. The quality was so good. And then what they do is they release the General Motors, the Chevy Cruze. What were they thinking? The Cruze? Remember the Chevy Cruze?
Have you ever worked at a large corporation with, I mean, GM, when my dad started, there was 800,000 people.
I work for KBR. I know all about large corporations and padding.
Yeah, so it all depends on who the CEO is favoring. The current CEO, people in my family know her. I hear she's actually a wonderful person. She's also an engineer by trade, so I have nothing against her. But I mean, her job is keeping stockholders pleased, and they want to hear about cost cutting and about profits. And to make profits, you have to cut corners. It all comes down to company culture. So if the CEO is in love with the finance team, no matter how nice of a car the designers and the engineers want to make, the finance team's going to show up and say, well, I'm giving you half of what you asked for, so get over it. And then there's the market dynamics, right? Why can't BMW build a car the last 20 years? They used to. They just stopped caring because there's no point to it. And it sucks. And people that buy a Chevy Cruze, it's their first car. And, you know, the Cobalts and the Cavaliers used to be reasonably reliable. But it's just one of those things that, I mean, you know, I don't want to take away your entire podcast from you, but there is a really weird thing about the car industry where cheap cars cost almost as much to make as expensive cars. So I don't remember what the numbers were, but let's say 20 years ago, a Chevy Tahoe and a Cadillac Escalade cost within, let's say, $1,000 of each other to make. But you could sell the Escalade for 40 grand, the Tahoe for, 40 grand less. And so they would decontent the crap out of the cheaper cars because they were making very little money on them. And then they'd mark up the price of the luxury cars to make the profit. And GM's profit in the mid 2000s is all trucks. So the Suburbans, the Tahoes, the Silverados, that's where they spent all their R&D money because that was the biggest profit center for them. Everything else was a rounding error, and they got decontented. Anyway, I'm monologuing now, but it's all about making money, which sucks.
Patel Philippe, $2. Please pull up your link I sent you to your WhatsApp. Thank you. What link did he send me? Let's have a look here. Da-da-da-da. Oh, we got a link. Let's have a look at this link here. I'm going to pull it up now. I got to tell you something seriously. I don't understand why. I'm really disappointed. Many things happened in the 70s. American manufacturing closed. They closed it all down. You understand this, don't you? They closed American manufacturing. They make nothing. We make nothing. America makes nothing. They exported it. That's what it is. Globalization.
My father has been personally tied to several factories that were opened in the U.S. So I hear you. It's definitely not what it was, but I can also point out Lansing Grand River, Lansing
Wow, you can really dance. He went. They said we've both been dancing all this time. What a coincidence. Wow, you can really dance. Wow, you can really dance. He went. They said we've both been dancing all this time. What a coincidence. Wow, you can. Wow.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
There we go. Mr. GMT, stay sexy. I got to tell you something. I honestly, why do you think the Germans went shit? Like seriously, Mercedes-Benz jumped into bed with Chrysler. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Oh, I do. That was my era. So you have to remember the whole market changed in the late 80s. So you brought up why they were taking apart Japanese cars. They couldn't understand how they built them for the price. It was because of the way the currencies were playing out. They could export them based on labor rates for if they were being built in the same country with the same labor force, they would have been far more expensive cars. But the way the currency was being valued and the way they were being exported, they were able to basically take advantage of that, and they were able to sell them for a lot cheaper than they would have cost to make, just because they built them in Japan and moved them to the U.S. And in the late 80s, two car companies were founded. Founded-ish. Infiniti and Lexus, right?
Yes.
The Lexus LS 400 came out. There was also the ES that came out, the 250. Yes. All of a sudden, people could have a equal quality car to the Mercedes for like half the price, and the market dynamics changed. And so then the Germans realized that they had been focusing on the prestige and the quality, but that the market was going to be chased downwards to the Lexus price point, and they had to basically decost their cars to sell at that price point. That's my philosophy. They basically end up chasing Lexus. And unfortunately, though, they couldn't build the same quality as Lexus at the same price point, or chose not to, or whatever.
When did Cadillac lose its way? Tell me that.
1966.
Yeah, 72 was still a pretty damn good car. I had
started going downhill mid-60s. They got pretty greedy. That's when they got really cheap inside. I agree. The last classic was the Fleetwood Brougham of like 1991, because that was a true rear-wheel drive fat car, 5-liter, 5.7, plywood interior, velour seats. Sorry, Mike.
What about the old ones with the 502s in them? You know, like the 68 to 72 Coupe de Ville, Sedan de Ville. I'm not sure about the front wheel drive
Eldorado,
but yeah, Cadillac had that big 502 big block, and they were just tank engines. They ran forever, and the cars were like land yachts. They just floated over along. But just having owned one, that's my experience with the 72 Coupe de Ville.
I mean, you do realize, Jay Anthony, to actually have a Cadillac was a big achievement for many Americans.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the V12s from the 30s? Cadillac did some stuff. There was a V16. Yeah, I agree. The 59 Eldorado Biarritz. Yeah, I mean, they built some beautiful cars.
GRM was the V16, right? The race engine?
I'm talking about like the 32, the 33.
What do you think, Ford? What is Ford losing their mind, not doing cars anymore besides the Mustang?
Well, it's like you said, you don't understand everybody likes SUVs because you don't. I'm with you. I mean, I have a Bronco that I love, but I would, nobody wants a car anymore. Nobody's buying them.
Exactly. It's simply numbers driven. I can't believe it either. But at the same time, Ford doesn't put anything out that I would rather have in the same form in a Honda or a Toyota, because I know Honda and Toyotas are just rock solid, and if Ford has a similar kind of normal Joe Schmo car, 4-door sedan, 2-door coupe, whatever car, just like a Corolla equivalent or Celica equivalent, I'm going to go with the Honda or the Toyota, just because.
I would testify, the Focus ST, that one did it for me for a bit.
Don't you think you're not very patriotic, but J. Anthony? I mean, I don't want to be rude to you, but when did you lose your patriotism for American cars? I mean, there are many Americans who would never think of buying Japanese. And when did this change? Can I ask you that?
So the other side of this wall, there is a Michigan-built Ford Bronco that was built this year sitting in the garage next to a Alabama-built BMW or South Carolina, I can't remember, and next to a Japanese-built car. So I have a German car, an American car, and or a German American bastard car, and a full American car.
I think the American auto market, they took the consumer for granted, don't you think? For so long, they took the consumer for granted. They sold garbage. They sold garbage, and
I don't know that I
You remember the Ford Pinto story where
it was cheaper to settle than it was to fix the problem. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you blow up.
That was a disgrace, don't you think, for Ford?
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, how did they honestly think that was acceptable?
I don't know. I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of companies that have been in trouble with this. Takata airbags out of Japan. They knew their airbags were killing people for a decade. They covered that up. I mean, this is a corporate question more so than an American versus other question. The Germans with Dieselgate, they were basically putting out way more emissions and talking about saving the planet. I mean, this is a corporate America BS thing more than a car thing to me. But it's like, why in your watch box? Why aren't you just loyal to Rolex or Patek? Why do you have all these different brands? The problem is when you have a passion like you and me, it's like being loyal to one thing. It's hard. I want a Ford Bronco, and I want a Ferrari 550, and I want a Miata, and I want a BMW.
Yeah, there's too much cool.
We got a super chat. It ends in tears. $5. The Milanese era was a symptom of larger problems for American cars. The start of the end for a decade. The Germans are there now.
Oh, the Malaise era. I agree with that quote. Yeah, the Malaise era.
The Malaise era. What is that? What is the Malaise era?
Malaise, just the bad times, or the bad era. Malaise is like sick. But Anthony, I agree with you 100% on your last comment, which I forget now.
I love American cars, and if I had room, I'd have a GMC or a Chevrolet Silverado or Sierra 3500 crew cab long box Duramax diesel in my driveway if there was room for it. I don't need it, but that's my American right to have a dually diesel in my driveway, and I'd love to have one. Right?
But why do most Americans get involved in consumer finance? Why do they get into car debt? Many Americans. What would happen if the American auto industry, they stopped financing? The whole car industry would come to a screeching halt. If there was no auto phones, auto finance, or auto loans, the industry would die. Do you realize that?
I agree. And I'll tell you actually a true story. So when I bought the Bronco earlier this year, I mean, one is they screw you over if you tell them they're paying cash. So because they will negotiate the car because they know they're going to screw you on the loan post you agreeing to buy the car, and they'll pack it with warranties and service packages you don't want. So the second they found out I was paying cash, they tried to screw me and put in like paint protectant and all this crap that wasn't on the car yet, like VIN etching and all this.
Maybe you needed that paint protectant. Speaking of how bad the paint was.
Yeah, well, this is true. And then anyway, when I went to go pay for it, they started asking me all my financial information. I'm like, why do you need to know what I'm taking, all my what's my income and stuff? They literally had to shift mentally to how to actually process a cash deal. They didn't remember how to do it. So to your point, it's clear that everybody finances.
Like what questions they ask? What's your income? What do you do for a job?
Exactly. What's my job? What's my income? How much do I pay per month? It was what's my my monthly mortgage payment? What are my debt payments? They basically want all your expenses, and then they want to get your credit score so they can give you a pre-approved loan. And if you're in the 800s,
so how much? the thing is this: you're always happy to use free money. What interest rate was the loan?
I transparently don't know. I have over 800 credit, so my guess is it would have been decent. But I hear it's like 7 or 8% now. What do you know? What yours is?
That's not
you know
cheap
what yours
money.
Is? I agree. I would never loan. But do you know what you're paying on your BMW? What your percent is? APR?
6.99.
That's better than I would have guessed. That's good.
I think my first BMW loan, because it was my first car loan, was like 14. But it was
double digit! Oh my God! Double digit!
I paid
Dave Ramsey debt scream.
No, I only borrowed a small amount in any case on that car, and then the 2 loans afterwards were 4%.
Sorry, I got first... all this gay talk in the chats is throwing me off. They're talking about cock size. A lot of small dick syndrome going on. That sounds terrible, Mike. That sounds very expensive.
Well, no, I borrowed like 6,000 at 14 to get my first car on credit.
Okay,
I paid the rest cash.
It will end in tears. $2. GMC and Buick are the next dead domestic brands.
I don't agree. So GMC sells only trucks, and they're still fine. They only exist because they sell trucks. Buick, the only reason Buick still exists is because of China. So I agree. If the China sales slow down, Buick is gone. And quite honestly, I would have killed it.
I've noticed Buick's in China. Why is that?
They're a big brand in China. So GM was one of the early ones to go into China, and China's the biggest car market. I was sad when they killed off Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Hummer, and Saab and Saturn, and I would have taken any of those over Buick, and I've had a Buick, so I don't mind Buick going away, but it's because of China.
Buick was an upper middle class brand, wasn't it?
It was an aspirational brand. It's like, I can't afford a Cadillac, but I don't want an Oldsmobile, so I buy this. Yeah.
Or don't want a Chevy.
Exactly. It was an aspirational brand, but it wasn't. It was mid-luxury. It was like a Zen Navitimer. You can't afford the Breitling, but you want the look.
What's Ford's equivalent of Buick?
They used to have one called Mercury, but they killed it. So now it's basically Lincoln.
Yeah. Mercury just like up and disappeared.
Lincoln's Cadillac, isn't it? That's equivalent to Cadillac.
Yes. And actually, this is another random fact for you. Both Cadillac and Lincoln were both started by Henry Ford. So Henry Ford worked for Cadillac, left to go build Ford Motor Company. Well, the company that became Cadillac. Leland.
Wow.
Henry Leland, I can't think of the guy's rest of his name, but yeah, Henry Ford worked at Cadillac before it became Cadillac.
Wow. I have a friend with an old 30-something Nash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's got a straight 8. It's got a straight 8, and it's like the world's coolest rat rod ever. Check this out.
You live in California, right?
Yeah, it's all rusted out, but he rebuilt the engine himself and did everything all by himself. Got the car back on the road from being buried in a field, and it's all rusted out. But it had every little micro piece of trim and knobs and gauges and everything are all there. And it's completely, the body's wasted. It's rusted out. It's patched up in spots, that are necessary. But it's the most perfect rat rod I've pretty much come across. It's perfection. Because the engine's been rebuilt and he cranks this 6-volt straight 8 over, really slow, but it fires up. It sounds like a regular V8 out of the tailpipe, honestly. And what a car! What a cool car, man!
I want to ask you something, J. Anthony.
Yes, sir.
How many years was some classic? So your dad worked at GM in the 90s or 80s?
He worked there 30 years, from the late 70s to about.
How long were they meant to last? How long? What was the life expectancy of a GM car?
You mentioned engineered obsolescence the other day.
So the Americans, I think, used to do it right, which was doing style upgrades. I mean, your era, like you talked about, Mike, the cars from the 50s, the 60s, every year you got new bumper, new tail fins, new interior colors. That to me was the right kind of engineered obsolescence because it was the lust, not the needed to replace it.
Yep.
My father was not on the car side of it. He was building the manufacturing plants, so more of like the production, which car factories are a freaking amazing thing to behold.
Yes.
I don't know. But I can tell you the trucks go 400,000 or 500,000 miles with ease. The body on frame trucks, the Silverados, the Sierras, the Suburbans, the Tahoes, they need an occasional transmission for whatever reason, but by and large, those things run forever. Like a 20-year-old Cadillac Escalade, you could drive 1,000,000 miles if you wanted to keep it on the road. The cars, they seem to go about 150K and they're done.
150,000 miles, they're done.
But this is 20 years ago.
What do you think my BMW's mileage should be? What's the mileage on that? And it's done.
If we're talking about the third owner who's making minimum wage and is not doing regular maintenance on it, I think it's going to make it just past 120K, which is 200,000 kilometers for you.
Then he'll have like something with the Vanos or some catastrophic thing that is if it's maintained, it should last a lot longer than that. Correct?
Well, there's so much plastic crap that'll break in it, Mike. Plastic crap.
Yeah, so you stay on top of that. You replace those things. You know, you maintain the car. You at 100,000, you spend a little money on it. You replace those suspect plastic things. You have the Vanos valve, variable valve timing things.
Maybe what I should do is get rid of my G20 and get myself maybe a E46. What do you think of that idea?
I love it. I think
it's a great idea. Good idea.
I have a friend here in Austin who has FU money to like a very high standard, and like he's doing really well. He owns a shop that services BMWs. He has an M4 CSL sitting in his showroom. His daily driver is an E90 diesel that he's rebuilt, and he's basically told me E36, E46. If you do the preventive stuff like the radiator leaks, the stupid crap they always have, they literally will go forever. And parts are cheap and people know how to fix them. You and I can fix them. They're easy to take apart. If you get one that's been well maintained, you do the basic maintenance, that would be probably a better car for you, quite honestly. If you can live without Bluetooth and, you know, what is it, Android Auto or Apple, or what is it, CarPlay. You can retrofit that stuff, but it'd probably make it worse.
Yeah, I saw an E46 M3 the other day. What an absolutely gorgeous car. And
even the non-M cars, the 330 is a great car. A 325 is a great car. Straight six.
Yeah.
It's very sad. The world has changed.
We're getting old. We're like the people, like the world's getting worse. I know. It hit me the other day.
BMW is really made to last 5 to 10 years, really. That's what it's made to last. And the funny thing is, on the road, I don't know how you find it in America, but you do not see many older cars on the road. Like, you don't see many more than 15 years old, really, do you?
I do in Texas because we don't have rust here. In Michigan, you wouldn't. If you did, they'd have a hole in the middle of them because of the rust. But in Texas, I do see a lot of cars here that are older. But it's to your point, it's a great way to tell which cars were reliable and which ones weren't. I do not see BMWs over 15 years old unless they're like over 20 years old. So like anything from like any 5 Series or 7 Series between like 2005 and like 2013 in the US, they're all gone now. I never see them. I actually saw a 750 Li, like a 2006, at the gas station yesterday, and I got excited to see it because it's been several years since I've seen one of them. It was sad.
You know what is it's just straight wrong. In California, it used to be 25 years or older, and you became smog exempt when your car became 25 years or older.
That's what it is here now. Yeah.
And that's just before I got my driver's license, that's how it's been. Well, 4 years ago, I think our wonderful governor changed the law and made it 1975 or older. And so my old vintage 1979 Porsche 930 has to be smogged every 2 years, just like a fucking brand new car, you know, or a newer car. Because brand new cars, you get like 4 years, I believe, before you have to have them smogged. Yeah, it's a 79. It's not older than 75, so it's not smog exempt. And all the smog originally was legally removed and didn't even need to be there. But now they've changed the law and it all had to get put back on. And it was a huge, huge hassle just to get it registered.
Glad I don't live in California.
Yeah, gun laws and car laws. They always make a California version car and then a ROW car. Because the California just says, "Oh, but we need this and this and this and this." And
I got a few super chats. Let me catch up, Mike. There, we got a super chat here. We got GB20 Mex. Sean Fain is running the auto industry.
I'm afraid to touch that one. Sean Fain is the UAW president, if you don't know. So the United Auto Workers is the labor union here that runs all the car factories. So I don't want to touch that one on this stream. I honestly.
Here we go. 20 GB20 Mex. Damn, Mike the Snake. Was that at a was that a buy here, pay here lot? Mike the Snake, was that at a buy here, pay here lot?
What was that in the question? To what comment did I make?
Oh, we'll just leave it. Frank V, $5. Every car sucks in 2024. US, German, Japanese, they don't even build Toyotas like they used to. My dream, I agree with you. The LS430, that was one of the greatest cars they made. Toyota's quality has really fallen down in recent times. Toyota is still selling for a big premium. Everyone thinks it's more reliable than it really is. Yeah. Toyotas in my country had the paint fiasco where the white paint Toyotas, the paint would fall off. Did you?
I didn't know about that. No, I've not heard about this one.
Well, that's it's because they used they used a water-based color paint and then they clear coated over it, and the clear coat sucked and got baked by the sun, and kind of like GM cars did and Ford cars did years ago. Maybe they probably still do it, but they didn't have it figured out.
I didn't know about that.
We got a super chat. It will end in tears. $2. No, dude, get a Holden Ute.
I would like one of those.
Oh, I'd love one of those too. Those are cool.
Patel Philippe, $2. Mike the Steaks, thoughts on a Pagani Huayra?
Hawaii. You pull it up. I absolutely love it. It's insane. Anything from Pagani. But yeah, for sure.
Pagani, who the fuck would service Pagani? That's what I want to know. Where the fuck do you get these things?
Anthony mentioned, they'll send somebody to you to do the maintenance.
Yeah, they'll charge you as well. It's not free. They don't just turn up for free. Oh, hello, we're here to do your Pagani.
This is a $3 million car, Archie. You're not worried about this.
We're here to do your Pagani service.
You had the $3 million to buy the car. The service costs are inconsequential at that point, Arch.
They are still expensive, Mike. They're expensive.
Oh, I'm sure they're expensive. I have no doubt.
It's bad fuel economy too, but I don't think they worry about that.
The only American cars I would own that are new would be like the Cadillac CTS or the Pontiac GTO or the Corvette. Those are the only three hot rod LS powered. Hot rod cars.
Another super chat in tears. Here we go. Yankee Doodle. J.A., I see you put out a video on the Tissot PRX. Haven't had a chance to watch us. Tell us about it.
Look at that car. The car is amazing.
Hey, no, thank you for mentioning that. The PRX is legitimately, I think, a wonderful watch. And I feel like a lot of people that talk about it are people that would never own it because it's beneath them, or that are people that are buy it because it's an aspirational watch. And let's be real, I think they're $750 now retail. For a lot of people, I know that's a lot of money. And they're buying, and a lot of people have heard that buy these, it's like, because I want the Royal Oak or something, but I can't afford it. I think this is a watch that legitimately doesn't require an apology. It's really nice. And I honestly wear mine very frequently. In the video I mentioned it, but I've taken mine to Alaska. I take it traveling with me. This is one of my travel watches. It is super comfortable. It looks like a Gerald Genta watch. It's actually based off of an older design that they did. It's got an 80-hour power reserve. I know somebody's going to complain there's plastic parts in it. It's cheap to service. It's got an 80-hour power reserve. It's honestly, I just think it's a wonderful watch if you like the design. And so, you know, when you think about good deals under $1,000 US, this watch to me is worth every dollar they charge for it. And they have some cool dials for it now too.
We got a super chat. It will end in tears. $2. Mike the Snake. It's been 75 for years.
I don't know what that's in reference
He's
to.
talking about in 1975 car. He said it's been 1975 for years. You would have known that.
Oh, I see.
And we got Frank V, $6, $5. Mike, your last video was all black smoke coming out your Porsche. You need smog inspection every year.
No, every 2 years in California.
He said you need it every year because of the black stuff coming out, Mike.
No, mine fortunately doesn't have any black stuff coming out.
Frank the Tank, $2. Mike the Snake, is you Porsche a Franken Porsche?
Some people might call it that because it's basically a race build, so it doesn't have the original rear wing, or it's got what's called the IROC front end, which has the hole for the oil cooler under the bumper. Other than that, body wise, those are the modifications to the body. The inside's been kind of minimalized. Anything of extra weight has been removed. Roll cage installed. Kind of really light. I think they took all the deadening out, the sound deadening stuff out, and they laid down just a black kind of carpet speaker carpet, and it's just very minimal in there. Momo steering wheel still has the original gauges. The door cards and the dashboard are flawless. But it's leaning more towards a race car right now than it is, like a regular street car. It's got the door panels where you just pull on a nylon strap to get out.
Patel Philippe, $5. J. Anthony, pair a watch to a GM car, Omega Railmaster.
So that's one of those watches that I think is very special.
Buick Riviera.
No, the Railmaster to me is a really nice watch that people don't appreciate. So I'm going to go back and say Opel Lotus Omega or Lotus Opel Omega. You remember those?
PRX.
Lotus Opel
Chevy Cruze.
The Lotus Omega it was a 200 mile an hour, 180 some mile car from the 90s that was really cool. It was based on the Opel Omega. There's also a Vauxhall version.
Okay.
Tissot PRX. Saab 93 Aero.
Saturn that was supposed to do quality. Remember Saturn?
I like Saturn.
I drove a Saturn for 11 years. It was great.
So actually, I'll use your Saturn one. Saturn Sky Redline. That is a great car. Hugely undervalued, future classic. Tissot PRX. Saturn Sky Redline. Awesome car.
Is that the one they did in collaboration with Pontiac, that little sports car?
That's the car we know how to drive stick shift on. The Pontiac Solstice, Bob Lutz, automotive genius. He did that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Pontiac, but it was also a
Rolex
Saturn.
Air
It's
King. What would
gorgeous.
that be as a GM product?
Air King, Cadillac CT6, Panerai Radio Mirror, Cadillac Escalade.
Okay.
Yankee Doodle, $2 pair. A watch to a 1987 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham.
Rolex King Midas.
I got to tell you something, Jay Anthony. I really want to say to you that General Motors has produced a lot of crap. They really should be ashamed of what they've done to American consumers.
You can tell
Do you
BMW
think they feel guilty for the garbage they've produced?
I think it's just the American car industry, because I think Ford's
Do
guilty
they feel
of that
guilty
too.
for the crap they've loaded their punters with?
So you've worked in corporate settings. I can tell you there's two parts. So General Motors, like any other company, there are people that are there because they're very passionate about the product. And I can tell you there are some real car guys at GM that know way more than you and I do about cars and have built some amazing things. The current ZR1 and the Z06 are examples of people that just bleed cars. The Cadillac Blackwing, the Escalade V, those are real car people and they love cars. Most of GM is people who need a job, just like any company, and their background is in like finance, right, or quality assurance. They don't give a shit. They need to monitor their Excel spreadsheets to make sure their costing isn't going into the red. And so those are the people I think that should feel guilty. The engineers I don't blame. To me, they did what they were told to do, but they wanted to build good stuff.
Who do you think the worst car maker in America is? GM, Ford, or Jeep? Chrysler?
Oh, Chrysler has always been considered last place in America.
Lee Iacocca, was he respected or he was despised?
I don't like the guy. The
Have you
K
met
car.
him?
No, this is fair. He saved Chrysler with the K car. I'll give him that. And he created the minivan revolution. Bob Lutz worked at Chrysler with Iacocca. He was passed over. Bob Lutz to me is the guy that you should really do some research on. He's a real car guy.
Why
Iacocca
was DeLorean booted from GM?
Yeah, DeLorean was a great designer.
As you may recall, he was arrested on some drug dealings, and he had some personality and character flaws. I think is his undoing.
Yeah.
He did the GTO, if I remember. He was
exactly the judge.
Yeah, this judge can be bought.
Iacocca released the Mustang as well. Did you know that?
The original Mustang? I did not know that.
I did not know that either. But
you know what?
That was during Henry
II's reign.
His personal car, the snowmobile, was a complete flop of a car. You know
what happened to the GMC? You remember the GMC wagon? The GMC. They had this beautiful camper. You know the camper they did in the 70s? The GMC camper van. You know, it was like a Winnebago. It was like a Winnebago competitor.
Oh, we're talking like the full-size motorhomes.
Yeah!
I'm like, what are you talking? I'm thinking like you're talking like a Chevy love truck or something with a camper on the back.
No.
Yeah, those are really cool. I mean,
those.
Why did they stop?
It's the same reason they got rid of Detroit Diesel and they got rid of Electromotive Division that built all the diesel trains. There wasn't enough profit in it. Those are cool. I like those too. But yeah, they got rid of them because they couldn't make enough money on them. It's like, it's like buying a Patek Philippe. Nobody needs a motorhome for 80 grand.
They were some really good. They're still going, those motorhomes. People savor them,
Yeah, no, I see them occasionally. I agree. They're classic, and the interiors are rad on them. They're really interesting.
Ford. Do you think Ford will go bankrupt?
No, I don't.
Do you think the executives at GM should feel guilty that they begged the government for handouts as they flew in on their private jets?
So, yeah, you keep baiting me with stuff I actually know about. This is good. So you know your stuff. Credit to you. And you know that way that story ended is when they were very tone deaf, and they end up driving back in hybrid cars to go to the next one. They realized they look like assholes. I agree. Rick Wagner was the CEO of GM at the time. Mullally was at Ford, and I can't remember which one was still at Chrysler at the time. GM paid back the loan, which most people that complain about GM forget, but GM paid the loan back and makes money. So people don't always want to say GM took a loan. They did. Ford got lucky because Mullally was stockpiling money when he first came over from Boeing, and just happened to have a lot of money put away when this all went aside. But to Ford's credit, they never went bankrupt. And the current management team, speaking of the current CEO, she was there then. She was in a different role back then. She's a real engineer. She seems to be a very decent person, Mary Barra. And the people that did it, Rick Wagner got fired immediately after. So should they feel guilty? Yeah, it was very dumb of them to fly to Washington in a private jet begging for money. I agree. That was very stupid.
We've got another super chat here. We got one from Patel Philippe, $2. Thoughts on the Cadillac
Celestiq.
Yes.
It's the electric car for $300K that they do bespoke at the Warren Tech Center, and it's beautiful. It just shouldn't be electric, and they need to bring back the Cadillac 16 concept. You should look it up, Archie. It's a $300,000 bespoke built electric car that GM's doing.
Wow.
I don't know who's going to buy it. It's pretty.
Well, what do you think of hybrid cars?
I think they're probably the inconvenient future more than pure electric. They make more sense to me.
Yeah. Although I don't, I would prefer to have just simply an engine. But it seems like the car they're merging more towards most cars being battery part, at least in part battery powered. And man, they sell you on like, oh, you're saving the world, you're not producing smog and stuff. But today's smog systems are so efficient. A lot of them are exhausting cleaner air than they're breathing in, and on top of that, when you take like what it took to make the battery and how long they last, and then disposal of those batteries and what it took to make the car, if you're talking carbon footprint, you're better off keeping your 83 Suburban and just driving it around. You'll get more carbon footprints or whatever. You'll hurt the world less by doing that than you would by buying a new hybrid car.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. Actually, really quick, Archie, since you're an enthusiast, legitimately, you see that picture with the dome in it? It's on the left side, third one down. There's like a big bubble.
Yep.
So a bit of car trivia. GM has a thing called the Technical Center. The building or the campus is a mile wide. It's a block. And they do all their design and engineering there. That is the design dome where they bring in clay models and new concepts and show them off to people for the first time. So that's where all the new cars are unveiled at GM corporate.
Oh, cool.
And that building was designed by Eero Saarinen. So people were asking about my Eames chair. Mid-century modern, Eero Saarinen is a big MCM designer, and that whole campus is very mid-century modern. It's really cool.
So do they still actually go from paper to clay design? They don't CNC it out, draw it up and have it CNC'd, or do they have the clay CNC'd? How does that work? Because I know the old-fashioned way was somebody took the design and they scraped away at the clay until they had the prototype shape, and they went from there. What's the process today?
Transparently, I don't know, but they've had CAD since the late 70s, if I remember. I have seen, I got to be careful what all I share. I've definitely seen clay models mocked up. They definitely still do clay models. I know that for a fact. But I think a lot of it's CAD first and then clay model, because there's certain things you just can't see on a computer, like where shadows sit, just the way lines flow.
Oh, exactly.
What model do you remember being released and thinking this thing is not going to fucking work?
I'm a bad guy to ask because I actually liked the Aztec when it came out, so I have terrible taste. I was mentioned here about the EV1 too that I thought was cool. I'd say most modern GM cars I just don't get. I'll be honest with you. And I've driven several as rentals. To me, they have no personality at all. But let me think about that.
I knew of one.
Do you think GM will survive?
If they pull back on this, all cars are electric by 2035, yes. If they keep playing this game, I'm a little worried for them, transparently. Because they've committed to all electric cars by 2035, and to me, the market doesn't want that right now. Unless it gets mandated by the government, and that depends on elections and other politics, right?
What's the future of Ford, you think? They can't keep churning out 60s Bronco reissues.
I agree with you.
The Mustang is a 60s throwback.
I will say this sounds terrible, not to say something negative about it, the big three, but I actually kind of like that they're suffering on the electric cars. So I don't know how it is in other parts, but where I'm at least, the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Ford Mach-E's are just stacking up on dealer lots. Nobody's buying them. Everybody wants the gas engine versions of these cars. And so I still have some hope that we're not stuck with this crap yet. I mean, they're great cars, but they shouldn't be the only choice. But I hear you loud and clear, Archie. The Bronco is a nice to have. It's not a need to have car. And if people don't have any money to spend, they're not going to buy it. I don't know. I'm afraid of the answer to that.
I got to tell you something. I saw the BMW 7 Series yesterday. Fuck me dead, that's an ugly car. That's made for a Chinese market. That's all I can say. With its crystal gear knob, crystal gear selector. Tacky as fuck. Tacky as fuck. Tacky as fuck.
I know a car
Is it a design school? Tacky as fuck.
I agree with you. That car just makes me sick. I don't understand it. Nothing about it says BMW to me.
But BMW had so many nice things, you know, like the Rolls Royce looks okay. And I mean, the 5 Series, I think the 5 Series is a great car. I actually prefer the previous 5 to the current 5.
I do too. The current one's blocky now too, like the 7, but not as bad.
And I got to be honest with you, I think my 3 Series is the last real 3 Series.
I agree with you. I should say this. Did you? So what hit me, and you actually know more about this than I do, legitimately. So I've driven every BMW 3 Series up to the E90 a lot, where I put miles on them. I know those cars pretty well. The F generation, I drove a bit, and that car broke my heart. It had very light steering. There was zero steering feel. The whole car was just completely numb. And that was when basically I was like, I'm done with BMW. I hated that car. The G80, or actually, well, I mean, you had the G20. Your car versus, have you driven an F Series? Does it have more steering feel? Does it feel more connected like an old BMW, or how does it drive?
The F has got a lot to answer for. That's when they went away from the 6-cylinder inline 6s and went to fucking turbo 4s, which even though mine is a turbo 4, doesn't mean I'm a fan of it. I would have much preferred an inline 6 than a fucking turbo 4. I had no choice. I had no choice at my price point. Okay. At my price point, I had no choice. And I got to be totally honest with you. The F30, they fucked up so many things. They fucked so many things. It's not funny. Speaking of which, we got Aussie Expat joining us on the stream. How are you, Aussie? Say hello. This is Jay Anthony, YouTube legend.
Hello. Nice to meet you, Jay Anthony. And Dis told me about you and gave you like a little heads up. So you talked about you in the Discord. So I've been following your channel.
Yes, his family was heavily involved in the automotive industry.
Ah, yeah. It's been an interesting car chat here. That's for sure.
You know, the funny thing is, a lot of the actually, I've got to grab the super chats. We've got Patel Philippe, $5. Pick a Holden muscle car for Aussie Expat to flex amongst the Nevada. I'd get a senator. A senator.
A senator.
A HSV.
185i, something like that.
You know, the senator, you know, I love the way GM names their products. They always name their products very aspirational. HSV Senator. Look at that. That's a senator. Look at that. Just a, you know, very, very cool. And they also had the HSV Director. Do you remember the Director?
No, I've never seen a Director. But yeah, senator. There are a few senators around. But you know what? You can't get those in the States. So how about just the last model of the Pontiac GTO?
You can get one of these in the States. They called it the Chevrolet SS, and they only made it for a few years, and nobody bought it.
Oh, the SS. Yeah, well, it's not going to be a senator, I don't think. I mean, it's got the makeup of a senator, but I don't think the SS was ever as luxurious as a senator.
There was there was a cop car of this here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's quite amazing time that they had there. We got Patel Philippe, $5. What's scarier, setting a Patek perpetual calendar or a Gen 1 Viper out on a cold morning? Gen 1 Viper, that's V10 and rear-wheel drive, and not much tech as far as slipping.
No tech,
and
no
shit
doors.
Like that. No, exactly.
No airbags either on the first gen, early ones. Just a metal steering wheel.
Yeah.
Patel Philippe, $5. Chick magnet or dick magnet? R35 GTR, Honda Del Solo, Porsche Boxster, Ferrari F8 Tributo. I'd say chick magnet, F8, Boxster, and R35. Dick magnet, Honda Del Sol, and the Boxster.
The GTR's also got to be a dick magnet too. Come on. Like, I love the Japanese stuff, but
could Archie fit in an Mazda MX-3? I remember the MX-3. You know the Mazda MX-3. That's right. They sold them as Unos. We had them as Unos. They came out as Unos in Australia. Unos. These were Unos.
Were they rotary powered?
No, but they were they were cool cars. Remember the Unos?
It's
Remember Aussie
basic. Yeah, it's
Expat?
basically slightly above a Corolla. It's not. It's not got a rotary in it. That'd be fun.
Expat, I've taken out a HELOC.
Oh, good for you. Use that
Taken out a HELOC.
liquidity.
I want to get rid of credit card debt. I'm going to consolidate that. I'm going to pay anything I owe, and I'm going to actually sell a few watches off. I've got some watches I'm going to be selling very soon because I don't want to pay money. Money's expensive. Aussie expat money is expensive now.
Oh, Archie, I started actually doing the calculations. I might buy my home. Like I rent this place, but I might actually buy it. Things are starting to shape up with the new job. My kid likes the school. Like he's been there for 4 weeks now in kindergarten. I can foresee myself staying here for more than a few years, so it might actually be time.
Whereabouts
I'll
are
take
you?
your advice. 5 years late.
5 years what?
I'll take your advice. 5 years too late.
Yeah, thank you.
Mazda has a really new, unique engine design where they're able to have variable compression. They're able to vary the compression of the engine. The crankshaft is on some sort of.
Oh, very quickly, got little Dave, $2. Pull up the Ferrari Giraggio Intrigue. Have a sticky beak. What is this? The Ferrari?
I'll tap 1999 on the LGBTQIA car, the Subaru. That's really an American thing. Like outside of America, Subaru never had those ad campaigns.
So you know about the ads? Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that didn't actually happen outside of America. So
this is the Ferrari Griglio. What's it called? A Ferrari? What the fuck? Ferrari Grigio Ingrid.
Grigio.
Like Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. I love it. Look at that. Fucking amazing.
Oh, the Portofino.
The beige Ferrari. Look at that. Fuck, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Gorgeous. How could you not love that?
You can't. You gotta love it. That's sex. Hey, earlier you were asked what car did you know for sure were duds. One car I knew was a gonna be a surefire hit, and I bought one myself. Was the BRZ/FRS, the Toyota Subaru collaboration, because they filled in the whole, inexpensive little sports car based on kind of the history of the AE86, which had a lot of race and history, but it was in an affordable platform. It was a win-win, and it turned out right. I mean, there's a lot of them on the road.
It could have been better.
Everything always could have been better.
Yeah. I'm a big A86 fan.
But... Nike, what engine did they use?
They used the Subaru Boxer. They used a 2-liter Boxer engine.
Even in the Toyota version, it's the same engine.
Yeah, they were the same car.
I would have gotten one if they didn't have the Boxer engine, quite frankly.
Really?
Right up my alley. I could have used something small just for me and the wife when I was in Seattle, but
you lived in Seattle. Whereabouts?
In Belltown, like Seattle.
Yeah,
Seattle.
you were downtown by Pike Place. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, towards the Space Needle side. So I was there for about 6.5 years until 2020.
I lived at the corner. I lived at the corner of Pike and Pine.
You did?
What?
What?
Yeah. In Seattle.
This is some backstory I've never heard of Mike the Snake before. What?
Pike and Pine is Pike Place Market. What were you doing? Where were you? What cross street?
No, you go all the way up to Pine Street. It's up the hill, all the way up.
You're on the other side of 5.
Not on the other side of the hill. You just go Pine all the way up, or Pike all the way up. There's a corner of Pike and Pine. It's on Capitol Hill.
Oh, that's like First Hill, right? call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then you were close to Queen Anne. Then I'm guessing. If you were Belltown, you said you were by the you said the
Yeah,
space.
yeah. So that's kind of the border of Queen Anne and Belltown, but there's the huge Seattle Center Park between,
Yeah.
Queen Anne proper. So yeah, but I'd stroll into Queen Anne every now and then. There's a couple of diners and Dick's for cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah, get a bag of dicks. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've lived in Seattle or live in Seattle?
I go every year. It's like my home away from home. I just love the Pacific Northwest. So I'll go there. I'll go to like Cannon Beach in Oregon, or I'll go to Vancouver.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. And actually, I did a couple of videos on it. I visited Seattle a few times this year. It wasn't literally hell. It wasn't literally hell.
You go to Pioneer Square, did you?
No, I absolutely did. I walked right through. I've got a video, and I'm wearing a Rolex, and I walked. I wore my Hulk. I wore a Hulk through at the middle of the night, like 11 p.m. at night. I walked from International District all the way back to my hotel on the other side of the downtown near SLU, and it was actually completely fine. I didn't see like large homeless encampments, and there were a couple of crazies, but I lived there for 6 years. I know not to walk straight up to them.
That's a good clip. You went to South Lake Union from International. That's a good walk.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was trying to take the bus, but I don't know. I couldn't work out where the bus stopped, and then by the time I walked to the next bus stop, he's like, you know what? I'm at university. I can just walk all the way. Well, I've gone through Pioneer Square already. I may as well just walk all the way.
It's like haunted at night. It's so dark. I mean, it's beautiful, but yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Good for you. And I like it a lot.
I mean, it's a stroll I used to do in the day.
Patel Philippe, $2. Thoughts on De Tomaso Gura? What is the Gura? What is the De Tomaso? Mike, you're the expert on De Tomasos.
De
What's
Tomaso
the Gaura?
Guara.
G-U-A-R-A. De Tomaso. What the fuck is this?
Is this the new release you're working on?
If I'm not mistaken, it might be one of the most beautiful cars.
Beautiful. Fuck, I love it.
It's beautiful.
Fuck, man, I love it. Look at that. Fuck.
Yeah, it's got some.
That's what happens when Daihatsu has sex with Italian cars.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of the Mangusta and the Pantera when it comes to De Tomaso.
Did you ever remember that Kylie Minogue song? Da da da. That Kylie Minogue sang. She was driving a Mangusta in that clip.
Ah, can't get you out of my head.
Can't get you out of my da 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 da. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
My wife and I had debate about which is whether or not that's Kylie's #1 song, but she was right. It did. That's her biggest song.
I think the #1 was at that solo with Jason Donovan.
I thought it was Locomotion.
And you know what? You know what? With Jason Donovan, he got fucked over by that fucking guy from In Excess. He stole his bird. That was Jason Donovan's squeeze, and that fucking guy took his fucking girl. What's his name? He ended up killing himself. You know the guy I'm talking about? He died in
No. It's
he died in Rose Bay in one of the hotels there. What's his name?
I tell you, I always had
Suicide Blonde. Did you like
Danny
that song?
Minogue.
Suicide Blonde. That was one of my favorite songs.
Is that a Kylie song?
No, In Excess. Suicide.
Oh, In Excess. Okay.
Michael Hutchinson was his name. Michael fucking Hutchinson.
Yeah, In Excess. No, I like Danny Minogue. She was always hot. And then, honestly, all the Kylie songs ended up being basically Danny Minogue.
Stock,
songs.
Atkin, and Waterman. You remember Stock, Atkin, and Waterman?
No.
That's the music producer. He owned the Flying Scotsman at one stage, but he actually was responsible for Rick Astley. He was like a music. They used a formula. It was just very good beat, but the songs have no substance.
Right. Well, I mean, there's always been producers who knew what the formula was. I'm thinking
Phil Spector. What do you think of Phil
Spector? Yeah, you go through his back catalog. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like he was the industry in his day.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah, yeah. If anyone hasn't seen the movie Spectre and not the stupid Bond film, you got it. It's one of Al Pacino's best movies, and really telling about like the justice system. Like, can a weird guy actually get a fair shake?
He went to jail, but
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. I mean,
Ingram. Hey, Herman, how are you? What's new with you? What do you want to insult with the show today, Herman?
Nothing. Just Curly's making a lot of money with Mookie. That's all.
So what do I care, Herman? Why come on and tell me this? What do I care?
What
do I care?
You asked the question.
For somebody who can play sharps and flats, give me some more wisdom, because you're just draining it down, Herman.
Yeah. How about taking a Tai Chi lesson?
Probably.
No, what about yourself? We want
talk.
self-reflection on yourself. How about stop being a nasty cunt?
I'll try.
Herman, what's your favorite GM product?
A Cadillac.
Which one?
I'm not really sure. One of the I'm not sure if I like the sedan or the I think I like the sedan. The what is it called? The CX-5 or something like that.
I always like the Cadillac hearse personally. What do you think of the Cadillac hearse? It represents the death of the American auto industry.
Yeah, Cadillac, but Cadillac is all right, man. It's okay, man. It's better than BMW.
Their CTS is a hot rod.
Yeah,
the CTS-V for sure. Yeah.
I really don't understand why Cadillac doesn't reissue that 90 Brougham. Why can't they bring that back? Just bring it back.
Did they make a flat
with
plate?
Rome? Yes,
Yeah.
because their clientele's all dead except for you and I.
I thought they were so beautiful. Did you think they were beautiful or not?
I mean, my grandparents had them, so I'm very attached to them. Yeah,
They had to be wealthy grandparents to have those. They were not cheap cars.
Yeah, that was for World War II people, to enjoy their life, the twilight, that kind of thing.
Did they make a flat plane CTS?
Look up the Black
airplane?
Wing.
Flat plane crank.
Look up the Black Wing. I don't know that they did though. I don't think it's a flat plane, but the Black Wing CT6, and now there's the CT5. That car is.
Oh, I thought you said flat plane when you, because I
the Z06. The Corvette Z06 is a flat plane crank.
Okay.
T8 Z06 is flat plane.
Yeah, so I'd get a Cadillac.
Is that the only? Is that the only version with the flat plane, or did they go flat plane
compete against the 3 Series? The CT5 that competes against the 3 Series.
Yeah, look up the Black Wing. Well, they made a special edition with a V8 and a manual. It was basically, they call it the modern day E39 M5. I haven't driven.
Aren't all C8s flat plane cranks?
No, the Z06 is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the base model.
Is that the only year that they made them with flat plane cranks?
Well, the Z06 is current production, so I don't know when they're going to stop it.
Okay.
I have people outside the U.S. here. So the Z06, also known as.
I have to correct myself in front of my son. He learns his ABCs, and I say Z.
Okay. I used to say pop, and I say soda. Living in Texas, so we all have these weird things we keep.
Yeah, I'd say soda pop.
Isn't there a state that just calls everything cola?
And that's Georgia. Yeah, Atlanta. It's like I want a Pepsi Coke. I want it. Yeah.
Oh, everything's a Coke.
Yeah. Where are you? Now, are you here in Nevada?
I'm in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. A little hot.
Yeah, at the moment. Well, it's not so bad right now, but it was for sure.
I do actually like Vegas. It's I was just at the the Fontainebleau a couple months ago, and yeah, I mean it's got a vibe. It's very expensive now. Everything's ridiculous.
It is. The Fontainebleau is it's a beautiful place to stay.
It's too far north on the strip, but it was really nice. I really liked it. It was like $30 for a burger and French fries.
Yeah, all of those new hotels up there are like very expensive, and they're not better. Like, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just you're not getting anything extra for the extra money.
How many of you guys have been to Las Vegas or went to Las Vegas in the 1980s? I did. That was the real Las Vegas.
That would have been a hoot.
Now it's just commercial bullshit. It used to be great.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard when the Mafia had it. I've heard it was better.
Yeah, it was way better. Way better. Way better.
It's a different thing now. It's a little bit of Disneyland now, just for adults.
Yeah, it's
and
unfortunate
families too, honestly.
Yeah, especially when I went there as a kid in the 80s and 90s, and it was just a different place. It was nostalgic, and now it just depresses me to go there.
All those casinos are gone. I mean, the Sahara, the Sahara is still around, but the Stardust, the Desert Inn, all the old stuff.
Yeah, the Dunes,
Tropicana
the Landmark
gets demolished in
Mustang
That's coming down now. Where they finished? I just took pictures of that. Is it gone now? Mirage is gone now too.
No, it's scheduled for an explosive demolition on the 16th.
I was there
I'm
when
not
it
going to go
opened.
out there. It's at 3 a.m.
I was there when it opened. I was there for the opening. They had a fight between two guys, no mas. It was the guy that shit his pants, the boxing match. That was like the opening day for that Mirage. They had a boxing match. Duran, that's it. Roberto Duran versus somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mirage
Uno
is
Mas.
getting deconstructed right now. I watched the last Volcano with my kids about 2 months ago.
Yeah, the Mustang Ranch is closed.
What is?
But the Mirage getting replaced with
Mustang
a fantastic
Ranch.
Casino.
The Mustang Ranch is
Hard Rock Cafe
100 miles away. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was in Las Vegas.
No.
It's just Nevada, I guess.
Yeah, the Mirage. I was just there a couple months ago, like the week before they closed. It looked a little tired inside. It was no longer like the vacation movie from National Lampoon's Vacation. It's come down a long ways.
It was the #1 hotel in Las Vegas when it opened. It was the big thing. It was beautiful. It was clean, and but they deteriorate. You gotta tear it down and build another one. They get old. They get stinky.
What's your pick of the strip?
That wasn't a very good movie, by the way.
I know it's iconic to me, but I'm with you, Mr. Papa Giorgio. Yeah, I agree. It's not a great movie.
Like I've tried to watch all the Las Vegas movies because now I'm a local here, and like that's one of the worst. But it does seem like every now and then there's always a movie that features a casino. Like it's obviously a tie-in deal of some sort. I think Adam Sandler did a movie, or it was just almost entirely based in a casino. It was also terrible.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
No, that's unbelievable. I reread the book last month. And it describes North Vegas because in the book you just put apart some area of Vegas that's not good. I've been living here for a while. Nobody goes to North Las Vegas. I haven't been there in the 4 years that I've lived here. I've spoken to other people who've been their entire life. They've never gone to North Las Vegas. And in the book, it just describes it as a hellhole, a place where all of the used-up hookers go to do their golden years or something. But I mean, I've looked on YouTube and I found gang initiation videos where there's a whole bunch of people like beating up on one young kid and stuff. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, right. they call it a beat-in. You gotta like survive 30 seconds of the whole gang, like or 6 or 7 people just beating you all to hell.
That's it.
You gotta.
What you do is you look at like cross streets and just start searching them on YouTube, and inevitably there's a gang that calls themselves around these areas of North Vegas, and and they're just straight up putting some of their crimes online.
Well, have you guys ever seen Casino? So we talked about the golden era of Vegas, Martin Scorsese's Casino. What do you think of that movie?
It's really good. It doesn't show that much Las Vegas, but I am going to eat at Oscars before the end of the year.
I was literally there when they filmed the explosion of the car, when he turned on the car and it blew up. I was having dinner at the Horseshoe on like the top floor. It used to be called the Mint. Now it's the Horseshoe. Yeah, and they have a steakhouse on the very top floor, and I saw like an explosion over by the Union Plaza. Union Plaza on Fremont Street, the Union Plaza, and there was an explosion in the parking lot, and I thought, what the hell? and I thought nothing of it. And then I saw the movie a few years later, and I thought to myself that they were filming that scene there, the casino, when he turns on the Cadillac and it blows up, and he survives. That was filmed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that where they put the bomb under his seat incorrectly, so it went off and he survived.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I
I've
saw
been
them
to Las
that.
Vegas Country Club.
Oh, with the Desert Inn / the what is it now? Help me, the Wynn.
No. So there's the Wynn's golf course, which used to be something else, and then there's still also Las Vegas Country Club, which is still there.
Oh,
but they have a tribute to that guy. Geez, I forget his name.
Howard Hughes.
De Niro's character in the casino, basically a casino runner, and they've got a tribute with a downed Cessna from the FBI agents who ran out of fuel at the country club. So that's actually on the course.
Wow.
I just heard my significant walk in the front door, so I'm going to drop off. Nice to meet you all and great chat today.
Hey, thank you, Jay Anthony. Great pleasure having you on there. Thank you so much.
See you,
Take it easy, man. Have a good day.
It was nice learning from you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Good day.
What's the
Arch,
next step?
Yeah, I had a thought. Like you were talking about prestige stuff. We talk about watches all the time. You know, luxury, net worth, all that kind of stuff. One of the shower thoughts I had was that there's certain levels of prestige that are the complete opposite of prestige, because it severely limits what people could possibly think you've got. So for example, if you limp in with like a super tiny Mercedes, it's like, well, you want that prestige, but this is all you could possibly get. Like there's no reason to get that car. It's not just your get around car, you know what I mean? It's like, this is as much prestige as you could possibly afford. Like, okay, I kind of understand your finances at that point. It's not very high. So there's certain things that have just a touch of prestige, but severely limit like the impression anyone could possibly have of what you're putting out there. The same with watches. There's some watches where you say, okay, you're clearly going for that sort of high prestige, you know, way or whatever, but it's hard to justify you having more. Like if you really wanted like the ultimate of that thing, it wouldn't.
I got to
have
be
been what
honest
you got.
with you there. You're right. It's the Wynn Hotel. That's a fucking. We met at the Wynn.
Yes.
Is that prestige?
100%. Nothing's better than the Wynn. There's other hotels that are as good, but no, like there's nothing better than the Wynn.
How did you find it at the Wynn? Did you stay the Wynn?
I've never stayed at the Wynn. So I'm more a Venetian guy. It isn't necessarily much cheaper depending on time and circumstance, but the Venetian's a lot more middle class. Like it's a lot more fun. You know, it's not
the
all...
Wynn is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I stayed at the Wynn. I stayed at the Excalibur when it first opened. The Excalibur. It's a rat's nest now.
I try to enjoy the Excalibur. It's hard to enjoy.
Pyramid. What's the pyramid one?
Luxor. That's also
Luxor.
kind of gone to hell as well.
I stayed there too. That was a creepy place. I stayed everywhere.
I used to pick
in
the
Las Vegas.
Luxor as a good budget option because they've got tons of rooms. Like that place is literally massive, but it's really run down. It's awful. I would not.
It is. It is
Luxor
very
anymore.
run. It looks very dated, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially the rooms. Like especially the rooms. It was not a pleasant experience.
Oh, your son is playing. He's watching TV behind you. Is that your son or daughter?
Yeah, he's junior. He's into Minecraft, so he's doing research on Minecraft videos.
Oh, that's great.
I had to turn on a
tell
browser.
Me this, you know, what do you think? You're in America now. Would you ever come back to Australia, or you love America?
No, I love America. The places I'm considering next are Florida, but honestly, I think the next 5 to 10 are going to be in Las Vegas now. Like,
would you get Australia? Would you get American citizenship? Is it easy to get?
I am an American citizen. Took
I
the
see.
oath about a year and a half ago.
And your wife is American as well?
She took it at the same time. So we both came to America at the same time. We both applied for the citizenship at the same time. So it all.
So
came
you're
together.
American citizens. Congratulations. I'm proud to
Thank
be an American. At least I know I'm free.
I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free.
Well,
And
my
I'm
kids are
glad
American,
there's
so
something
I gotta set up some roots.
I gladly stand up next to you, and there's something today. For I can't say I love this land.
God bless the USA.
Amen.
Yeah.
Archie, I gotta go. Have a
Hey,
great
no worries,
night.
Mikey. Thanks for coming on, man. Great show today. It was really
Thanks.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun car talk.
But tell Philippe, $5.
Love
Aussie
you, man.
expat, is a Rolex Explorer 40 the definition of your anti-prestige? Yes, that is anti-prestige. 100%.
See
For
you later,
me,
Mike.
I can see a reason for almost any watch in Rolex's catalog being someone's ultimate piece, and a lot of watches are very internal in terms of what they do for you. So there's no real justification. Like they're not necessarily externally validating things. The ones that I would start, in general, the two-tone sort of brings that on a little bit. That's the only one that I would say like sort of vaguely starts positioning you down potentially, but that could just be your jam. Like the bluesy, it's one of the best Submariners ever made. Full stop. It's gorgeous. Like there's not a more gorgeous Submariner. So it's tricky. Not everything positions you down. You know what I mean? But some do. Some do. I don't think the Explorer does that. I mean, if you could just be a guy who just likes a simple, good watch. I mean, a lot of like super wealthy people have no watch, so it's hard. But the thing is, the problem for car is that it's so external. Like there's no hiding what you're driving when you're on the road. So if you're going for that prestige thing, it's sort of, if you're not
But
pushing the
I don't
limit
think
somewhere, it's sort of
BMW or
hard to see.
Mercedes is really that prestigious anymore, do you?
Yeah, but that's my point. Like it's hard to tell like who these
Depends
cars
on
are
who
for,
you're
like
hanging
many of
out
them.
with, right? Depends on if you're with people who are barely getting by with a Ford Taurus or something, then they're going to say, "Wow, you've got a Mercedes." You know what I mean?
It's true. Like I mean, it is more, but it's sort of like a lot of those things are not FU more. Where you can no longer place, what their limit is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about middle class games.
Yeah.
Upper middle class games. You go to a local soccer field on the Saturday, and all the mothers have Birkins and Tiffany jewelry on. That's what I'm talking about. It's the middle class beat 'em up where everyone's flexing their cars and their bags and their watches. Like I got completely owned. I drive a minivan, and I saw some other kid hop out of a Lamborghini Aventador going to school. I'm like, okay, all right. Not very practical with all the speed bumps, but good for you. Not going to say you're limping in with an Aventador. It wasn't even a Hurricane. You got to go all out, flagship model.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Hurricane too, and I don't think a Hurricane places you. I mean, it kind of does. It's clearly not a flagship, like someone who has an Aventador versus a Hurricane. That's clearly another level. But I wouldn't. I'm no place to judge.
Yeah.
But certainly, almost any BMW at the moment doesn't put you in that sort of ultimate threshold where no one would really question, why did you pick that car? It's like,
I think
you
they're
picked it because that's
overpriced.
about
To
as
be
much as
completely honest with you, I think they're overpriced garbage.
Yeah, my mum was unfortunate to have bought a 3 Series, and I worked on that.
Which one did she get?
This is ancient history, but like a 328.
What year was this?
I or something like that. It would have been about 2008.
Why is that?
something
That was
like
a good car, actually. What's wrong with that?
It just went through oil like no tomorrow. And it sort of had funny transmission issues.
Did it
Nothing
still
that
have a
stopped the
straight
car.
six, or had they done something else?
Straight six. We're talking E90.
E46,
E46.
E46 was the last with the straight six, as far as I'm aware. But
No,
So
E90 had
was
straight
hatchback.
sixes, Doc.
I don't know if that. I'm not a big.
maybe I'm
BMW
thinking
person, so-
M, because the last M with a straight six was E46.
Just get a Toyota made in Japan and drive it until it's got
Why
a
do you drive a Jeep
500,000
then,
miles.
Herman? If you sprout this stuff, why do you drive a Jeep yourself?
I drive a Toyota. It's made in Japan. 100% made in Japan.
Which
Has
one?
200 FJ Cruiser 2008.
Oh wow.
250,000
Is the FJ Cruiser
miles.
made in
Do you
Japan?
garage it, Herman?
I did for many years. Currently, it's outside, but it's got 250,000 miles. It's it's a workhorse and it's beat up, but all I do is change the oil, and nothing ever goes wrong with it. It's unbelievable.
I thought that was based on the Tacoma platform.
It's based on
I
the
think
Prado platform, actually. It's
possibly,
got to be
yeah.
exact.
Yeah, but it's a good car,
The one I have in mind is the really funky, modern-looking FJ Cruiser, not like the old workhorse one.
Yeah, that's what he's got. He's got the funky Cruiser.
He's got a 2008,
Yeah.
so it's a
Suicide doors. Any car with suicide doors gets my vote.
suicide doors. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a reinterpretation
I wanted
of the
to
one
take
from the
Archie for a
60s.
ride, but that didn't happen.
Okay. I thought it was. I'm mistaken, but I thought it was based on Tacoma / 4Runner platform, but
It's a bigger platform. It's based on the Prada. Let me ask you this: living in America now, like us Aussies, we always say Americans, too many guns, scary, scary shit. How do you? Would you find you'd come back to Melbourne or Sydney? What would you do?
no,
Me?
like I've got a lot of guns. I've got a little safe over there with a few guns.
Amen.
It
God
doesn't
bless
bother me.
Make sure you lock them. Make sure the kids don't get hurt. Remember that.
Yeah. I didn't have a safe
salute you.
before, but now with the kids I do. But I also am going to make sure that he heeds the instructions I've given. Like if you find one, you just tell an adult immediately. So what I'm planning on doing is just leaving a frame. So it's not a gun that can't possibly fire it. It looks like a gun. I'm going to leave it in the bathroom sometime and make sure that he knows to do the right thing. He isn't going to sneak it off somewhere and hide it and make sure he's doing the right thing.
So I got to tell you this, Aussie expert. Fuck me dead. John Howard got rid of guns here, and I think it's the best thing we ever did, to be honest.
The best thing to become a nanny state.
Hey, Archie.
Hey,
that
no,
was
look,
conservative government. That was our right-wing extreme government did that. And I
Archie.
Liberal party.
Hey,
is
Archie.
extreme right-wing.
Hey, Archie. Can I tell you something, Archie? Can I tell you something?
We got Naki on. Nak wants to critique you. Get him on, Nak.
No.
Come on, Nak. Come out.
And I can't tell you anything.
Oh boy.
Naki.
Wait.
Exactly. Here we go.
No, did you say? I don't know if I misheard. You said when I was a kid in the 90s. That's what you said.
Who are you talking to, Nak?
Herman. He said because I remember when I was a kid in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What
I'm
do you-
old. So what?
We're talking late 60s, early 70s. You weren't a kid in the 90s.
You were a kid in the 60s.
Yeah, but he said he was
Me?
telling a story. Yes, you said when I was a kid
born
in the 90s.
1974. I was born in 1974.
How old are you?
I was born in 1974. Do the math, you stupid motherfucker.
No, you're lying. You're
I
like
turned your
OG
camera
baby.
on.
You're like an OG
cowardly-
baby girl.
You're not only stupid. You're not only stupid, but you're a coward. Turn on your camera, you coward. You coward.
He
Like,
turned
you
it
look
on
like
once.
Tell Archie, shut up. Shut
Going
up.
my way, Nak.
Shut up. I was trying to tell Archie
He
something.
turned it on
and
once.
came on.
That's enough.
Hey,
fuck
Ozzy, how you
off.
going, buddy? You're looking good.
Bye-bye.
I did not recognize you, Ozzy.
Thanks, man.
Did not
Thanks, man.
recognize you. You let your hair grow out, put a bit of weight on. You must be content. You've given up on
Oh,
life.
it's lean weight, man. It's
No,
lean
you've
weight.
given
There we
up on
go.
life.
We got watch for it, $7. Rolex 6234 versus Patek 5960. Patek 5960 any day of
Can't
the
believe
week.
Herman's taking 20 years off his age. What is he, a woman? What is he, OG baby girl? What the hell, Arch? The guy is 70 when I was a kid in the 90s. Come on.
Wait, I thought that was Archie who said that.
No, Herman.
Oh, okay.
No, I just want to say, Ozzy, great to see you. When I first saw you on the other day, I did not recognize you. But your kid's not cutting your hair anymore.
No,
Your kid used to...
the wife's demanded it. And honestly, I've been getting such praise. Like everyone's saying, you're
looking good. You're looking good.
Patel, I'll take the 5960. I really like the Patek 5960. I think it's just superb. Chronograph, just beautiful.
I take
Beautiful.
the 6234.
Doc, how you going, buddy?
It's good. It's good. How about
Do you believe that? Do you believe he was a kid in the 90s? Do you believe he's born in the 70? What, he's 78? The guy looks like he's 80. About 80.
That's why I jokingly said 1890s.
Yes, I got to go now. Great show,
You
Arch.
got rid of him. You hosed him off. You hosed
No,
him
by the
off.
way,
He hosed him off.
By the way, OC contacted you. What did he say? Why'd you let Narc on? No.
I said to him I was desperate for panelists. That's what I said to him.
Yes, you're desperate. Ozzy, nice seeing you again, bud. I'm off. You're looking good.
Thank you, Narc.
Did I tell you I was at a grocery store and someone saw me wearing my 6238, obviously a chronograph, and they thought that I was wearing something like Patek 5960. They thought I was wearing something completely different. They thought it was a little too elegant for a Rolex. And they were into watches, so they knew a lot about watches.
That's very specific. I don't think I'd know someone who'd know the difference between those two in real life. Never mind.
It turned out the woman's son was big time into watches, so he had a modern Panda, he had a modern Day-Date. He had something else relatively impressive as well. I just can't remember what it was. So he was definitely into watches, and then she was into him a little bit. Enough to think that I was wearing a Patek. So she saw me with the Rolex and says, is that a Patek? And I just kind of chuckled and said, not really. What is it? And then she saw it was a Rolex and couldn't believe it.
I don't get that many people commenting on my watch, full stop. Like
neither do I. Absolutely. And if they notice it's a Rolex, I think when people notice it's a Rolex, they decide they're not going to say anything. They figure you're just an a-hole, snob, or something.
Douchebag
exactly.
indicator goes off.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had people comment on the Breitling Super Ocean. That's happened quite a bit.
I've had a few comments on this one, the pink Tudor.
Oh,
usually women.
You love it?
Yeah, I do. It's just a play thing, a summer thing. I think it'll be horribly out of date in a couple of years, I imagine. I was like, oh, that thing, that whole, hullabaloo. But I genuinely like the watch.
Even though it's pink.
You got to see the rest of my collection. It's boring as fuck.
So this is your out of the box watch. You've got everything else is either white dial or black dial, very boring, and so you got to have something.
Exactly.
And that's reasonable.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you, Aussie expat, tell me what's happening in your world there. You may be considering buying a place. Good on you. Good on you. You got a good job in IT, doing well. Would you get a mortgage or would you pay cash? What would you do?
I get a mortgage just because the tax incentives. So I've decided to continue working. It's enough money to make tax a huge burden, and there's a lot of benefits in USA for having the mortgage. I could pay it outright in cash, but the mortgage, you get to write off the interest, You get
What's
to write
the
off
and you also
the
your interest
insurance,
rates?
the
Interestingly
property
enough,
tax.
your interest rates are fixed for the term of the loan.
Yeah, 30 years. And get this, Chase Private Client, if you drop in say equities, you drop in say about 4x the value of the home. So you just drop it. So if it's like a $700,000 home, you drop in like $2 million worth of equity, something like that. It's not quite 4x. And then they'll give you 1% off their interest rate, and then you can just withdraw the equity straight back out after the close. So it's like it's just a gift. So 1% straight off as long as you
Not
can
many
drop enough
people have $2
equities on.
million, but they're Aussie
No,
expat.
but
You
I
do
like
realize-
it when I do like it when I get privileges. Hey, I earned it. No, but it's also the only way to make it work. Honestly, at a full 6%, I'd rather stay renting. I've already done the math on that. I'm getting down to like all of the benefits I could scrounge together.
Well,
I
just
the tax
my home loan is at 6.12 now. It's a variable rate. Variable.
Holy shit.
So are you going to stay in the U.S. permanently then? You're not going back to Australia?
Yeah. My
Just to
kid's been
visit.
at his primary school for a month, and he likes it. So as far as I can tell, my future's here for the foreseeable.
Do you miss Australia?
I'll be in Australia in Christmas time, but no, I don't miss Australia.
Whereabouts, in Sydney or Melbourne?
I'm from Melbourne.
Is your wife American?
No, she's Australian.
American
as
citizen
well.
now, but she's from Australia. She's from Melbourne as well. But
you have your
started recording somewhere else.
Your child was born here in the States.
That's right. Yeah, I have 2 kids, a daughter and a son.
Okay, so you're set. You have your anchor baby and everything.
Yeah. Hey, no, we only conceived after I got the green card in hand. You know, I totally think the whole.
Oh yes, of course. Officially, yes, this is correct.
Yeah, I'm here legally, not Yeah, I did it the right way. Okay.
Hey. We have some Dems watching. There is no wrong way. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I got to tell you, man. Seriously, you're in Vegas there. Would you any other states appealing to you besides Vegas? Florida, for example, or
yeah, Florida would be good. No income tax, looks interesting, looks fun.
I thought Nevada was the same.
No, it's true, but he's talking like if it wasn't Nevada, would I consider something else?
Oh, I see.
Also, there's the possibility that I might stop working. In that case, any state ends up being pretty good because, I won't be paying their income tax.
would you ever move to somewhere like Missouri or Alabama, somewhere like that? Look at a lot of house for your money.
No, it'd really be the number one driving factor is probably going to be whatever is good for the kids. Like
if you were to move to Alabama or maybe even Arkansas, like our good friend Ross Rachel Brady, that accent would take over your accent. You'd lose your Aussie accent. You'd sound like
I
Ross.
wouldn't mind a southern drawl. I'll be taken more seriously.
No, that's fantastic, man. It's that's really, really good there. You're settled in your new job. You're doing well. America's been good to you.
Yep, absolutely. And I hope everything works out well for America. That's no, it's a pretty crazy time. I gotta say. So hopefully all is
Are you
good.
going to vote?
No.
That's the thing,
Can't blame me for what happens next. That's what I
the
want to be
funny
able
thing
to
is,
say.
I don't want to vote. We got state elections in Queensland coming up. I don't want to vote. I really don't want to vote. I would like to fucking not. They fine you if you don't vote. It's fucking ridiculous.
I talked them down. I've been away from the country for a long time. They tried to fine me for not voting one time, and I told them, take me to court. Try prove that. Try prove I didn't go there. It's kind of hard to prove a negative.
Yeah.
So they cancel. Like they said, no, you got to write a reason and stuff like that. I was like, no, I don't got to write anything. You take me to court. If you think there's a crime, take me to court. And then eventually they apologized.
That's pretty interesting that they fine you if you don't vote.
Well, they give you a threatening letter, and they ask you to incriminate yourself on the letter. It says, "Please write in why you didn't vote." You know what I mean? It's sort of like the police officer. Please tell me what speed you were doing. You know. And so I just called, like I wasn't going to write anything down. I just called them up. I said, "Hey, you tell me what evidence you've got. Take me to court. You're the one writing me threatening letters. Let's go all the way. I want to see my day in court. See you prove this fucking bullshit law. A law where you'd got to prove a negative, that someone didn't happen to walk into a booth, didn't happen to write an absentee ballot that went in, got misplaced by some government worker."
Well, I wanted to come on real quick because I thought you were signing off soon. I wanted to come on because I saw one of your shows that I wasn't able to join in on the panel, and you were talking briefly about dieting. Is it true that you're going to go back on the diet? Silence. Okay. So the reason I ask is because there's a lot of links between overweight and especially obesity and depression, both directions. Depression seems to be a potential cause of weight gain, and weight gain is a potential cause of depression. So I think that when you were doing your weight loss program, you actually were at your best mentally, if you look back at that time. You agree?
Arch is motionless.
I must have caused him to completely lock out of everything.
Yeah, no, I got to tell you honestly.
Did you hear any of what I said?
Yeah, I did. I heard you what you said there.
Oh.
I don't believe in that stuff. This is.
I just wanted to encourage you. If you were doing quite well.
Democrats in the food industry.
You were doing very well with the weight loss, and you were at your peppiest.
It has its moments.
Guys, I gotta wrap this baby up. We've been doing 3 hours and a half there. I gotta wrap this baby up. I want to thank.
Hello. Can I say something?
Sure.
You got to do it like this, Herman. Hello.
Okay. I don't know the man's name, the Aussie who lives in Las Vegas, but I love him, and we need more people like him to come to America and become citizens. That's all I have to say. Good night.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try my best to fit in.
Thank you very much. Guys, I want to thank everyone who came on today, everyone who super chatted, everyone who had 2 cents to rub together. Let's go through the list. We had SD43, Rich Mitch, Marcus Mandel, Rich Mitch, Little Dave, Madman. We had Ken Fresno, Time to Unwind, Rich Mitch, Time to Unwind, Rich Mitch, Ken Fresno, John C., JD Montreal, Rich Mitch, Patel Philippe, JD Montreal, Patel Philippe, Madman, Patel Philippe, Rich Mitch, Patel Philippe, John C., Patel Philippe, Swinging Kangaroo, Patel Philippe, John C., Patel Philippe, Baron McColes, big super chat. Patel Philippe. It ends in tears. GB, Frank V. It ends in tears. Patel Philippe, Yankee Doodle. It ends in tears. Frank V. Frank the Tank. Patel Philippe, Yankee Doodle. Patel Philippe. Little Dave. Patel Philippe. Watch for it. Ozzy Expat, it's been an absolute honor to have you on the stream. Doc, it's been an honor. Mike the Snake, Herman.
Thank you, sir.
Herman Ingram was great. We had Jay Anthony on discussing, is it time to dump your watches? Market crashed already. I think, you know what? I don't think it's time to dump, but if they're not giving you happiness, You could do something better with the money. Maybe slowly get out. Slowly divest. Don't dump, but slowly divest. I think that is the answer. I really do think that is the answer.
Let me interject very quickly because you know what I'm going to say. Please, everyone who's listening and had a very good time watching this show, hit the thumbs up, give us a like, say thank you in whatever way you can.
Say thank you. I got to tell you, Aussie Expat, it was a pleasure meeting you in Vegas. I met you, your charming, lovely wife.
Was he one of the guys that left from? Let's see. When I arrived there, we went to the pool, and the guys had taken off.
He was cool. I remember meeting him in the gambling den, and we had a great time. That was an amazing time we had there. The world is changing. Aussie Expat, the world is changing. In Australia, we got a housing shortage. We have got rents through the roof. Cost of living. By the way, Aussie Expat, I was checking out. I'll be totally honest with you. I got a HELOC. The reason I got a HELOC, Aussie Expat, was because I earned good money the last couple of years. I don't think good money is going to be here for that much longer. So I thought, you know what? I want to get a bit of finance in place. You don't believe in buying a house, which is fine. But I think, you know what? I'm going to use it to take a bit of equity out. Okay?
This is going to sound crazy, but in the States, they actually have a HELOC credit card.
That's not crazy at all.
I have no idea how it works, but it's advertised pretty heavily.
Yeah, that's okay. Look, it's whatever you use the money for. If you use the money sensibly, there's nothing wrong with doing a HELOC. But if you blow it quickly on crap, well, that's never a good idea. But the thing is this. Let me tell you this, Aussie Expat. I've got a HELOC. I tried changing my business with more travel. It didn't work. So I want to get rid of that debt. I want to do a few little home renovations to make the house more usable and enjoyable. I also want to have with the BMW there, I'm stuck. I want to have money to be able to pay it out at any time. Okay. I want to be able to say, here you go. Here's the payment. Now fuck off.
Yeah,
okay.
Remove the stress.
Well, I just want to be able to do that. Okay. So
yeah.
And I will tell you something. You got to look at your house as a vehicle. It's a vehicle to, in my case, it was a little bit tight and I'd like to have some money, whether it's borrowed money or not, up my sleeve. So I'm very much, I'm cautious. I'm not going to blow the money. But let me say this to you. I then want to start getting rid of, I will divest some of my watches. I will divest. I don't need them all. And put it back into the HELOC. So it's kind of a, you know,
revolving
in and out.
door.
Well, I'm very cautious of what the money's costing me. Money's not cheap anymore.
No, it's good that you've shored up your liquidity basically.
Exactly.
Very important because you've got such a variable income. It's hard to predict what will happen. With enough liquidity, I don't know how big your HELOC is, but you're telling me basically you can make everything square and then you only have to look at one thing.
No, I can make everything square and I've still got $75,000 put away. And I'm not.
How many percent were you able to get the HELOC at?
Okay, so in my country, we have a variable interest rate. See, we don't fix. In your country, in America, you fix for the time of the mortgage. So I've got a 15-year loan, and I took another 150 Aussie, it's 100 US. I took 100 US, okay? It's a variable rate. The variable rate at the moment is about 6.12%.
Ooh.
Okay? It's not cheap. It's not expensive.
Yeah.
However,
well, it's not as
in
bad
America,
as a credit card.
Sorry?
It's not as bad as a credit card. So
well,
you
credit
should use
card
it
can be from 13.99, 14% to high 20s.
Exactly. So you should take
That's
everything
actually
off
good,
of your card
Arch.
and switch it over to HELOC.
Yeah, none of my credit cards are lower than 20%, I think.
Well, the
Not
thing
that
is,
I've
the
got
credit
anything
cards
rolling
that
on
are
them.
high have points and other incentives.
Nah,
You
it's
know, the
never
credit
worth it,
cards I
though.
have are a low rate credit card, which don't have those incentives, but have lower rate if you have a balance. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
get
it's
you.
just
So for
they're
me, I tell
usually
you
nowhere
honestly,
near
what I want to
6.
do is I owe a little bit. Like I tell you honestly, I owe 40,000 on credit card. Okay, now
Oof.
that's a number of reasons.
Wow.
Okay, that's my wife and mine. I owe a friend 7,000 because I bought too much shit. Okay, I'm the first to admit I bought too many watches too quickly. I owe him. I want to get rid of him. I don't want to owe him money. You know what I mean? It just irritates me owing a friend money.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a carport at the front of the house. That adds value to the house. That's okay. Then I'm stopping. We want to get a new car in the next year or two for the wife. And I want to be able to pay the Beamer out at any stage. So if the market, if it's absolutely fucked, I'll just pay the Beamer out and that's it. Then I can sell the Beamer or do whatever I want with it. I don't want to be tied to them, okay? Because I've got just
What
a
kind of
number
car
of
is she
issues.
getting?
Probably a baby SUV Mazda.
Okay. That shouldn't be
At the
terrible.
HRV?
Sorry?
Is that the HRV, or you're talking
No,
like?
No,
sorry,
that's
Mazda.
Honda.
So it's like a
So
CX,
Mazda is like a CX-30, CX-3. But I got to tell you, Aussie expat, seriously, in Australia here, I just want to tie that up because I've got good figures. I got the loan approved. I can see the figures coming way, 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 way down. My income is not there. Now that's okay. I'm not terrible about it. What I need to do is I need to stop spending money. For example, I can live very, very cheaply if I want to go somewhere overseas. I got some friends who said, "Hey, you can stay with us $30 a day, $30 a day for." I said, "Oh, that's fantastic." So that's a low. So you want, if you're going to go overseas, no more America. I canceled my American trip because America is 20 hours flight. Everything's expensive. I stay in Manhattan because that's where all the events are. If you stay out of Manhattan, I don't know where to stay, and taxis and transport are so expensive. I'll get lost or killed. You land after a 20-hour flight. The last thing you want to do is take a bus to your hotel. You want to jump in a taxi or an Uber, and that's
$50.
$150 Aussie, 100 US. Yes, correct. And you know what? The business isn't making that money anymore. JJ's not my friend. He doesn't love me anymore. So there's no more steak dinners or JJ events. JJ's sort of taken his ball sack and said, "Okay, Arch, fuck you." So there's no point. No, that avenue doesn't exist, which is fair enough. JJ was always a self-interested sort of guy who just milked me for what he could get out of him. That's okay. It's the free enterprise system. But you know, I realize what it is. It is what it is.
We got a super chat from the kangaroo.
Swinging kangaroo, $2. Aussie!
G'day, Swing Kangaroo. It's been a while. You hit me up on WhatsApp. I want to know how those bags are going, and
and we got another one.
How the wife is
another
doing.
super chat.
Got another super chat. We got one from Van Lux. Member chat for 18 months. All you need to get out of debt, send money now. Archie, you need to get out of debt. Look, I'm consolidating, and I am working on. The best thing I can do is the HELOC gives me some leeway. I am going to sell a few things off. I tell you honestly, I am going to sell some stuff off because I got to be honest with you, Aussie expat. The thing that is, all these watches, you got to service these fucking things. You've got to. I'll show you a picture, by the way, Aussie expat. Look at this. I want to show you. Is this sexy? Tell me if this is not sexy. Look at that. That's my Breguet Type 21. I mean, that's
nothing like a real gold watch, and Breguet is the finest.
And why do I need? You know, I've got so much shit. I need to.
Well, someone's point was, why do you need 2 gold chronographs?
I'm actually getting rid of one, to be honest with you, Doc. And the other thing I want to show you is look at this.
Fantastic.
Look at this 3-piece, Doc, and look at this Aussie
All you
expat
need. That's all you need.
Breguet 18-karat rose gold, two-tone bluesy, and a world time. And I'll just add an Explorer 2. What more
That'll
do
be
you
your
want?
full steel Explorer 2.
That's
Yep.
it.
Beautiful.
That's it. That's it. What more
I'm
do you
still
want?
shocked you got rid of the two-tone sub. I mean, sorry, the two-tone Daytona. I'm still shocked.
Look.
Yeah.
Look,
but that
it
was so
is
he
what
could
it
get a
is.
purchase. I don't
I
remember what the
used the
purchase
money.
was.
I used the money to pay for the world time. That's okay. The
Yeah,
world
there you
time's
go.
a better watch.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. I'd rather, to be honest with you, I'd rather have that Breguet. It's half the cost of the two-tone Maserati dial, less than half.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have the Breguet. I think the Breguet is just a fucking chocolate dial, just a beautiful watch. That's enough. These 3 plus an Explorer 2. What the fucking more do I'm getting greedy. I think we get so greedy in this hobby. We want more. And you know what? You don't need more. Have
Some people
enough.
think less
What
is
do
more.
you think? What do you think about this 11 piece? It's
Ooh.
11 piece setup.
There's some fucking beautiful. Look at that. A panda. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at this. I tell you what. Explorer.
They're boring,
Got
though. They
the
are
Air
boring.
King. Love it. I love the Hulk. I love the panda. I love the. Is that the new GMT? Oh no, that's the Batman. Batgirl.
Yeah.
Speedy. You got the Pelagos. You've got what's that next to the Pelagos?
Sub-date like yours.
Sub-date.
Well,
You got
before.
a next to that is what? On the red strap.
Pelagos FXD.
FXD, Explorer 2. And what's at the end there? That's an Oyster Perpetual or Explorer 1?
Explorer.
Fuck, that's beautiful, man. That is so fucking nice. That is absolutely beautiful.
But it's too much. It's also too much. It's beautiful, but too much.
Look.
It's hard to grok.
Yeah.
And then one last one out of the case, the 58.
Actually, I love the Tudor. Tudor's beautiful. Tudor is beautiful watch. I love Tudors. Tudors are amazing bang per buck.
Yeah, there's some places that I want to go and still wear something nice, you know. You know, you can't wear.
But please,
Rolex
you got to put them
everywhere.
in a bank safe or have it. You please. There's so many. Fuck. Be careful.
Oh
careful.
yeah.
Oh, he's in Vegas. He's completely safe in Vegas.
No. I have I have the bank safe set up. They're only home for this weekend, and then they're all going back to the bank on Monday.
I got to tell you, man, seriously, watches, I really love them. But I look at this photo and I think to myself, you know what? How many fucking more? What more do you want? How many more do you want? And I still love other watches, but enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough, really.
It's like Jay Anthony said to you, though. You have enough connections that you can always get another watch to put on the show, you know, to model it on your wrist, etc., without actually owning it. So this is perfectly fine in terms of a collection.
No, that's exactly it.
But you got the LV watch box again, didn't you? The eight piece.
Yes, I did.
Box.
I did get that.
The watch boxes are a sickness, aren't they? You always end up one short, one too many, and it pressures you into doing things that you're like.
Yeah, this is the watch box. I got it customized as well, Jay.
Yeah.
Look at this. I got it painted as well.
It
but
takes
you know
you
what?
down that path that you don't want to
I
be
don't
on.
need to fill it or do anything with it. You know, I'm actually at the moment, right? I want to get rid of a few pieces. I'm going to be getting rid of a few in the future. It's okay.
You're not getting rid of the Speedmaster because that was a gift, so you're going to keep the Speedmaster also.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll probably the Zenith and the JLC I'll start with, but I want to get fair money. I'm not fire sailing things.
I can't believe the Speedmaster survived. I remember the streams after you got that. You were shameless, Archie. I don't...
Speedmaster's classic.
Was it so classy and gracious about the Speedmaster when you first got it? But you know, you had a lot of emotions to deal with.
I love this. The Speedmaster is an amazing watch. Manual wind. It's got the 3861 movement.
My Speedy's in the shop, but I miss it. It's a great watch.
It's an amazing.
I just mean like it was solid money. You know,
that was actually a gift. I didn't pay for this one. This was a gift after the burglary.
No, I know. But like in the streams after you got it, there were many times you referred to potentially getting rid of it to get something else. I'm just like, you just got that.
Look, it's just talk. You know, that's just that's just locker room banter. Room banter. You know, it's not.
No, I mean proof is in the pudding. It's there.
When he said grab her by the patek, that was just pure locker room talk. Just pure and simple locker room talk. That's all it was.
Pussy is for grabbing and not eating. Well, certain segments are eating too. Okay, all right, that's fine.
I really do enjoy them. I love the watches. I love them. But you know what? I want to reduce. I don't want the HELOC and that there. I want to keep it under control. Look, the business has changed. I'll be honest with you, Aussie expat. You know, I'll tell you something. I looked at IT jobs that I used to work in, and the funny thing is, Aussie expat, the money is not that much different than 10 years ago.
Wow.
Well, and the cost of living, we've had huge in Australia. We've had cost of living explosions, and the other thing is, Aussie expat is me. I'm 52. 52 in IT is like being 62 in any other industry.
Well, that's why I left Australia. I mean, in Australia, there's a real cap on the, you know, in my field of work as a software engineer, there's a real cap on where the salaries go. But if you look at, you know, big tech, you know, what I've been working in the last 11 years, sky's the limit, honestly.
Oh, of
you
course,
have a super chat from Kangaroo.
We got a super chat from Swingin' Kangaroo, $2. Aussie photos sent via WhatsApp, bags and watches. There you go.
That's awesome, Swing Kangaroo. I'm rubbing my hands. I'll open up the chat with my wife a little later, because I think it's been like maybe a year and a half or more since we last chatted. So I know what you were hunting for, so I can't wait. We'll see what you got.
So I got to tell you, in all honesty, for me, I want to get rid of the Zenith and the JLC. That'll free up a bit of money. I might even get rid of the World Time, because the World Time is a lot of money. I'll see how I go. I don't know. I don't like to put limits on myself. What I don't want to get rid of is the Speedmaster, the Explorer 2, and the Bluesy. I think those are very key watches that I love.
Yeah, I think you got a nice progression through those four. I guess the only toss-up is that World Time, because you have the gold Breguet.
It's so much money, but it would really plug some holes. Would I mean, to be honest with you, I paid 35,000 Australian, right? I could buy a fucking car, a Mazda for my wife, paid off for the price of that watch. You know, it's sort of, no, I get it. A car and a watch, it is what it is, but it's, Marcus Mandel, why don't people super chat? Fuck you all. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Guys, that's the show for today. I just want to wrap her up. Aussie Expat, it's a pleasure having you on, man. I always love talking to you. And
I always love your show, Archie.
The world is changing. It's changing. And I got to tell you something. You might think I'm crazy getting the HELOC.
No.
But
everyone out there who has any asset, if you can get liquidity on it, you get that liquidity. You don't have to use it, but you own it, get the full benefit of it. There's no excuses.
And it certainly makes sense to wipe out your credit card debt via a HELOC. That makes perfect sense.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you don't want to just then redraw the credit cards up again. That's the only thing, of course.
Well, of course. you still want to be responsible about it after you do it. Yeah.
But it's a very important point, and I got to tell you, I look at this collection here. Yeah, they're beautiful. I love them. But the thing is, Aussie expat, you got to keep the fucking thing serviced and running and functioning. Like, how many do you really want? This is the question, and they're beautiful. I love them. I love these fancy watches. Are fucking amazing. Like, anyone would be happy with any one of these pieces here. But look, I think getting the HELOC. Let me say something to you, Jay Anthony. I know he's a bit of a financially independent, retire early person, but now that it's borrowed money, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, Arch. I don't want to fucking spend money. I want to bring it down. I want to bring it down.
Archie, you have a super chat.
We have a super chat. Thank you so much for a super chat. Chris F, $10. Nice one, Arch. Great vid. That's the show for today. Guys.
Thank you, Chris.
See you later. Love you all. It's been a good show. Just wanted to keep chatting. Jay Anthony's a great guy, and Doc is a great guy, and Aussie Expat's a great guy. It's just so fun. We'll see you tomorrow.